Back deep for the Cowboys. Dallas road record 1-3. The Philadelphia home record 3-0. Something's got to give. Special teams. Kickoff returns for Dallas. They rank 3rd in the NFL. The Philadelphia kickoff coverage is last.
This is one of the matchups that Ray Rhodes was worried about yesterday right here.
Boniol's kick to Walker at the goal line. Brock Marion, beg your pardon. Marion breaks out of the pack. Boniol missed, but that's what Ray Rhodes feared so much.
And he had reason to, didn't he?
Did he ever? Troy Aikman won 7 out of the last 9 against the Eagles. In front of him, Hageman in place of Tuinei, Newton, Shiver, Allen, and Williams. Emmitt Smith and Herschel Walker, the 2 backs. Anthony Miller and Michael Irvin wide, and Eric Bjornsson, the tight end. Irvin comes left with Miller inside in the slot. Walker in front of Smith in the backfield. Aikman, the quarterback. On first down for Michael Irvin, incomplete. Well covered. The Eagle defense. The front 4, Mamula, Rhett Hall, Hollis Thomas, and Greg Jefferson. The 3 linebackers, Thomas, Willis in the middle, and Darren Smith, the ex-Cowboy. Demery, Dawkins, Zordich, and Vincent, the secondary. Demery in place of Taylor. Emmitt Smith, and a flag on the play as Emmitt Smith gets first down yardage, but a penalty marker down. Brian Dawkins made the stop.
Number 59 is lined up in the neutral zone for the defense. That penalty is declined. First down.
Jerry Austin indicating the penalty against the Eagles. The Cowboys decline it. Emmitt Smith got enough for a first down.
Well, he just ran that lead play right in behind big Larry Allen and big Eric Williams, and if you're going to run, that's not a bad place.
2 tight ends set up this time. Smith, the ball carrier again. A yard. And he is pushed backward, led by Greg Jefferson, first on the scene.
And the other thing is James Willis was right there. You know, anytime that you're going to take and get outside the off tackle area, you have to keep that middle linebacker from flowing, and that's exactly what happens. Watch the flow here once you start to that side. You see the linebackers flow there. Now watch Willis come in and make the move right there and get up the field.
2nd and 9. Aikman back to throw. Shuffled out of the pocket. The pass incomplete. Irvin lost the handle.
Well, you know, one of the things that the Eagles talked about was keeping Troy Aikman backing up and not letting him get into a rhythm. Now the Cowboys are doing an interesting thing here, Pat. They're bringing in John Flannery on passing downs to play right guard. Then they're taking right guard, their best offensive lineman, Larry Allen, and they're moving him to left tackle. This is something you seldom see, movement of offensive linemen changing positions on different plays.
Ultimately, that's probably where Larry Allen will wind up. But this is brought about by the injury to Tuinei. Pass up to Emmitt Smith. Close to first down yardage, stopped by Willie Clark. And it's close.
And that's not, I mean, here's the area that they're worried about. They're worried about Mike Mamula, so they put Larry Allen over here, let him block, then they keep the tight end in the backfield and get a chip. So they are not going to let pressure come from this side. Watch, there's the block, there's the chip, and Larry Allen doesn't need a lot of chipping.
No, he doesn't.
Eric Bjornsson, he stays in there. They are not going to let Mike Mamula get off the line of scrimmage on passing downs.
You know, John, that seems like an insignificant thing to move from right guard to left tackle, but going from the right side of the offensive line to the left side is a big move.
Well, that's tough because everything that is inside on one side is outside in the other, and vice versa. And when you get trained, you know, to keep your left foot in, your right foot back, and all those things, then you go to the other side, you have to do the opposite of everything. This is an interesting thing right here, Pat. The Cowboys are 4th down. This is the area that, Troy Aikman last week ran a quarterback sneak, and I would think this would be the area that he would run another quarterback sneak.
Very short yardage to get a Cowboy first quarterback sneak, as John Madden said. And he's close. It is a first down.
I think one of the, you're going to talk about the Cowboys and missing Moose Johnston, who was the best blocking fullback in all of football. And I think in some of these short yardage, goal line, those running type things where they used to have the lead play, they are going to lose. Now, Herschel Walker gives them something else. I mean, he's a pass receiver. He has more speed. But when you talk about just an extra blocker, you do not get that with Herschel Walker.
Walker in front of Emmitt Smith. Aikman back to throw it. Going deep for Irvin. He had it. Vincent knocked it loose. Flag on the play.
And they are playing Troy Vincent wherever Michael Irvin goes. We've seen Michael Irvin line up on the right side. Troy Vincent lines up over there. See him on the left side. Troy Vincent lines up on him on that side. Remember, it used to be Bobby Taylor that always covered Michael Irvin. In today's game, it's Troy Vincent.
Well, this is something that goes on more and more frequently, that contact and a bumping between receiver and defensive back.
Yeah, and Michael Irvin is one of the biggest pushers, of offensive receivers.
2 fouls.
Number 88 of the offense pushes off.
That's what they got.
We have number 23 of the defense not playing the ball in interference. Both penalties offset. Replay first down.
Well, that's both guys playing against each other. What they're saying is Michael Irvin pushed off, and it's going to get right there is the push-off. Now, when the ball's in the air, Troy Vincent can't touch him. So that was the interference.
They said he wasn't playing the ball.
No, he wasn't, and he was playing Michael Irvin, but not only playing Michael Irvin, he was pushing Michael Irvin.
So they'll repeat the down. Situation remains the same at the Eagle 30. Emmitt Smith. Emmitt going sideways through the hole, stopped by Rhett Hall. He's still got about 3 yards.
Sometimes you have to do that. You have to, get out of square and go into what you call slither. That's exactly what Emmitt Smith got, out of square and into slither.
Well, you slither close to Halloween, I guess.
Troy Aikman hates to throw a wet football, too. I mean, if there's anything that gets into his mind or bothers him in a football field, it's a wet football.
2 tight end setup. Fake is to Emmitt Smith. Pass is incomplete for Scott Galbraith. That's one of those 2 tight ends.
That's one new thing, that the Dallas Cowboys are doing now that for years we never saw them do, was run a bootleg.
Here comes Flannery again.
Yeah, you see Flannery. You can see the rain. It's starting to rain harder now. Flannery comes in, plays right guard again for Larry Allen. Larry Allen will move out to left tackle because of all the offensive line positions, the most important one in pass protection on long yardage is this one right here, the left tackle.
Especially with a right-handed quarterback, which of course Aikman is. Aikman off to run. Got a first down, got more. Slides at about the 13-yard line. First down, Cowboys.
The one thing these Eagles want to do is they want to pressure Troy Aikman. They know that they had to do that. They want to hit him on every play, and you don't expect this. I mean, Troy Aikman himself didn't expect it, as evidenced by the slide at the end of the play. Good coverage on the right side, so that was darn near a coverage sack, but they didn't get the sack. Now watch Troy, how he tries to end that. I mean, he almost got that right leg caught up under there.
That was not your picture-perfect slide.
That was what you call downright ugly.
Here's Emmitt Smith. And Emmitt ducks under the tacklers at about the 14. The red zone offense, I'm sure they're tired of hearing about this, but it's been a problem. Look at their touchdown percentage since 1994. 65% then, 32% down. It's been going down steadily every year.
And if they're tired of hearing about it, then the way to stop the talk is do something about it. And this is the problem that they have right there. 1st and 10, they run and they gain none yards.
Nothing.
That's the problem. They used to be able to run better in this area.
Handoff is to Walker this time. There's nothing there for him, maybe a yard. Never got underway.
I think they tried to just slide it into Walker right in here, thinking that they could get a crease in there, but this end is playing too tight there. They expected that there'd be a crease in there, and that's the old veer play, you know, and then they had the possibility of an option off that to Emmitt Smith, but there was the line was too tight to run the veer in there. There was no hole in there.
This is the 12th play of this drive since they received the kickoff. Upcoming. 3 wide receivers this time. Miller is to the left. Flag on the play. The pass is incomplete. Intended for Miller.
Yeah, someplace, you know, they always say this every week, someplace Anthony Miller is going to have to step up, and he hasn't yet. If they're going to double Michael Irvin, somewhere he has to make some plays.
Offsides, number 97 of the defense.
They'll get another chance.
Repeat 3rd down.
Brett Hall was offside, so the Cowboys will get another crack on 3rd down. 3rd and 4 this will be.
Yeah, now they can run that slant because they picked up the 5 yards on the penalty. I think that slant on that play, even had they completed it, they would have been short because Charles Dimry really had pretty good coverage on Anthony Miller.
Almost picked it off. 3 wide receivers set up again. This time it's Stepford Williams to the left. Aikman back. Incomplete, intended for Bjornsson. Only got one hand out. Brian Dawkins the coverage on Bjornsson.
Yeah, and I'll tell you the other thing. Michael Zordich came on a blitz from Troy Aikman's backside, and he wasn't blocked, and that's the thing that made Aikman get rid of the ball. We talked to the Eagles. That's what they wanted to do. And in fact, Ray Rhodes told me yesterday that he would expect that they would blitz almost every passing down against the Cowboys today.
Richie Cunningham, 21 out of 23, leads the NFL in field goals. A lot more field goals than extra points. That's not a good sign. Cunningham's kick is good, so the Cowboys take the lead 3-0 on their opening drive.
What do you get when you fly Southwest Airlines? Fun fares.
Well, you've waited so long for a fare to get so nice and low now. You really should fly.
Light up the night. Southwest Airlines fun fares are so low. Want to see that again? Now you can fly just for the fun of it.
With us, 'cause we got a lot of things to do now. You really should fly. Have fun, 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 flying Southwest on a fun fair today. Fun, fun, flying on a fun fair today.
You're all set. Have a pleasant flight. Great.
Here you are, sir. A 2-door spec.
Spec?
Our junior executive suite.
Supersize me.
Sure, what would you like?
I don't care. Just supersize me.
Did somebody say McDonald's?
You're buying a car. You know exactly which cars you want and which cars you don't want. But there are still cars out there that you don't know that you do want. Recently, Oldsmobile has come out with so many new models, they might not be on your list yet. They should be. So before you buy, find out all you can. Come to Oldsmobile's 100th anniversary premiere and drive them. Find out.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines with fares so low you have the freedom to fly. By Oldsmobile and your local Oldsmobile retailers. And by the Principal Financial Group. For over a century, your edge in retirement, insurance, and investment products.
Halloween approaches. Dallas leads 3-0. Kept the ball 5 minutes and 33 seconds.
No, I was just going to say, you can't beat a pumpkin or a pumpkin patch, can you?
No, you can't. It's that time.
Yep. You go out to the pumpkin patch and get a pumpkin.
Deuce Staley back deep for the Eagles. He'll be going, set to kick it off for Dallas. Line drive kickoff. Handled by one of the up men. Ball loose. Let's see who got it. The Eagles got it back. It was Jimmy Johnson, I believe, who returned it. And lost it. 3-0 Dallas.
I stand here carrying on a great tradition. I vend Coors Light, like my father, his father, and his father before him. It's frost brewed and Rocky Mountain cold. Makes people feel refreshed. I think my forefathers would respect that. If not for them, I wouldn't be who I am today. Bob Smith, the fourth, beer man. This one's for you, Grandpa.
I'm not your grandpa.
Coors Light!
There's no question that computers open up entirely new worlds. But what about children who live in a world that can't afford personal computers? Fortunately, as of today, we'll never have to ask that question again. Network computers allow everyone to join the information age. And we'd like to say, welcome, Oracle, enabling the information age.
You're buying a car. You know exactly which cars you want and which cars you don't want. But there are still cars out there that you don't know that you do want. Recently, Oldsmobile has come out with so many new models, they might not be on your list yet. They should be. So before you buy, find out all you can. Come to Oldsmobile's 100th anniversary premiere and drive them. Find out.
Halloween screams with a brand new episode, plus 2 classic tales. It's the Simpsons Scare-a-thon tonight at 7, 6 Central on Fox.
Charles Emmanuel, the rookie from West Virginia. Here's what happened a moment ago. That's he blocking number 23.
There he is.
John.
There he is right there blocking, and watch as Jimmy Johnson comes in there. He runs right into him. Emmanuel's leg gets caught up under the pile.
He's the backup safety for the Eagles.
Yeah, he played last week. He played for Brian Dawkins, who is a regular free safety who was out.
Rodney Peete has had a stop with the Cowboys, but he opens and hands off to Ricky Waters. Let's look at Philadelphia's offense. As I mentioned, Rodney Peete, the starting quarterback. It's his second start after Ty Detmer did it most early in the year. In front of him, Mayberry, Panos, Everett, Beckles, and Brooks. And with him in the backfield, Waters and Kevin Turner, one of the best. Irving Fryer, remarkable. Michael Timpson and Jason Dunn.
They have Charlie Garner in there with them now.
That's Garner bouncing off to his left. It'll be 3rd and short. Let's look at the Dallas defense. They're missing a lot of people. Shante Carver, Antonio Anderson in place of Chad Hennings, Casillas, and Tolbert. The front four. When they're in a 4, Coakley, Strickland, and Randall Godfrey, the linebackers. And the secondary, without Darren Woodson, will be Sanders, Marriott, Stoutmeyer, and Smith. 3rd and 2. Here's Rodney Peete back to throw. And he has the completion to Irving Fryer and a first down close to midfield.
Yeah, there's a guy that's an amazing guy. Irving Fryer, you look at him, and he's been in the league for 14 years. And, you know, at some point, guys usually start to look their age or look like they've been in the league or caught that many passes or whatever. But he doesn't look that way. He still looks, he moves, he acts, he plays like a young guy. In fact, Ray Rhodes says he thinks he's the toughest guy in the whole team.
Amazing to play a position like wide receiver as long as he has and play it so effectively. He retreated, trying to get it out to Turner, incomplete. Knocked down by Godfrey. Shante Carver, who had opened at defensive end, over on the Dallas sideline. Broderick Thomas has taken his place. Emmanuel being administered to on the other side. Rodney Peete, 2nd and 10. Puts Fryer in motion. Hand off to Waters. Waters hit behind the line by Dexter Coakley first. There's Emmanuel. Into the wagon, headed for X-rays.
Did you see that Dexter Coakley on that play?
Yes.
One thing you can't do when you have quick linebackers, and the Cowboys have quick linebackers in Dexter Coakley and Randall Godfrey, is you can't spend a lot of time dancing in the hole. And Ricky Waters knows that.
Yep.
And he spent too much time dancing in the hole, and Dexter Coakley speared him in the middle of a dance.
3rd and long. Peete retreats. Dallas blitzes. Fryer makes a one-handed grab behind him.
How in the heck did he
What a
do
catch.
that? Irving Fryer had already passed that point. Rodney Peete throws the ball behind him. Fryer just reaches back with his left hand and catches the ball one-handed. This is something.
It's amazing.
That's it. He's going to run it in there. The ball is behind him. He just reaches back and grabs out there and snags it with his one hand.
And scooped it in. 1st down, Eagles.
The guy covered him was the rookie Omar Stoudemire, and he said, I never saw a play like that at Fresno State.
He never saw Irving Fryer play at Nebraska either. Here's Ricky Waters. No gain. Hit by Strickland. Right now for McDonald's game break. Let's return to James Brown at the Fox Television Center in Hollywood.
Hey, Pat, Terry Kirby took a screen pass 82 yards last week. Look at the counter screen. New wrinkle for San Francisco. To Garrison Hurst. 19 yards to pay dirt. 49ers on top. 7-0. Back to Philadelphia. Pat Summerall and John Madden.
It's like the 49ers get better every week, and we'll see them next week when Dallas travels to the Bay Area. 2 tight ends set up for the Eagles this time. Dallas leading here at the bench 3-0. Incomplete. Intended for Michael Timpson, covered by Kevin Smith.
They want an interference call on Kevin Smith on this. You watch Michael Timpson. He starts to the inside in motion, then he goes to the outside, then back to the inside, and again, that ball was thrown behind him.
Behind, yes.
Rodney Peete has some completions, but he doesn't have many good passes.
3rd and 10.
I'd try that one to Fryer again.
Yeah, that scoop one behind him.
Because that's one place that the Cowboy pass defense has always been vulnerable, is ins and crosses.
Fryer split wide to the right. Peete looks in that direction. The pass was almost picked off by Kevin Smith. He saw it coming.
Well, Rodney Peete smiling on that one because he knew that he got a break. He was trying to get that ball in there, but here's Kevin Smith. Now, you watch his eyes. You see, he's looking into the backfield. He's watching Rodney Peete. So when that ball is thrown, he really gets a better jump on going to the ball than Irving Fryer did.
He was there.
See, that's the thing. When you're playing zone and you're playing off like that, you can watch the quarterback, read his drop, then read his eyes, and get a pretty good jump, as Kevin Smith did.
Chris Bonio from 52 yards out with Hutton holding. Bonio won't get it there, I don't believe. Short, wide right. No good. They'll bring it back to the line of scrimmage. The Cowboys will take over with the lead, 3-0.
Meet Sean Graham, veteran stuntman. This is how he lives. This is what he drives. What else would he drive? Chevy S10, like a rock.
Okay, let's see. You have your Germanic roach, your yucca roach, your classic water roach spitters.
Let's see what we're dealing with here.
Denny, get me the Widowmaker. 99. boy. You have the most stubborn of all breeds.
Danny, to the truck, now!
Trust me, I'm very good at what I do.
It's not TV, it's HBO.
Tonight, has Hank Hill made a pact with the devil?
It just tears my heart out.
A screaming new King of the Hill tonight at 8:30, 7:30 Central.
Irving Fryer. That catch he made a moment ago, that was something.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to look again. Yeah, I mean, you see guys make one-hand catches behind, but that was what you call a one-hand snag. He just snagged that thing right out of the air. The Eagles didn't get any points out of it, but still, that was a heck of a play by Irving Fryer.
And a big first down. Walker on the move. Aikman down. Rushed by Greg Jefferson and Red Hall.
Yeah, William Thomas had very good coverage out there in Herschel Walker, and that's what Aikman is trying to do. See, he has to bring the ball back. He's trying to get it out to Herschel right there. See it? Then he had to hold it. Then he looked upfield. Now that's a coverage sack, because in fact he looked once. He was trying to go short to Herschel Walker. He couldn't do it. He looked deep. He couldn't find anything there. He had to bring the ball down. Then he got sacked.
7 pass plays, 5 blitzes. This is Emmett Smith. And Emmett picks up a few. Back to the original line of scrimmage over on the Philadelphia sideline. The offensive center, the offensive guard, Ian Beckles, and Ricky Waters.
Yeah, they always sit the way they line up. You know, there's the center, and then Beckles is the right guard, so he sits right next to him. They're looking at the imaging plays, you know, to see how the Cowboys will line up on different plays. Again, a left tackle.
3 wide receivers set up for the Cowboys. That's Bjornsson moving. And here's Aikman. Pass is caught by Michael Irvin. Good throw, good pattern, good catch. That'll usually get it done.
Well, one thing, you know, that Ray Rhodes will always tell the guy, when you play against Michael Irvin, you have to be physical. It's not Bobby Taylor, it's Troy Vincent out there. He's going to bump you, he's going to push you. You have to knock him around. Of course, that's tougher to do than it is to talk about it, because Troy Vincent did all those things, and Michael Irvin still caught the ball.
The fullback is Nicky Suolua this time, and Smith behind him. And no gain.
See, one of the things, you know, with the fullback, he has to make a quick decision. I mean, he has to find that hole and get in there. And Suolua just made a little hesitation, and that little hesitation is the thing that's going to slow up Emmitt Smith too. Because watch Suolua as he starts. He's going to make a little hesitation. He's not sure whether he goes here or out. And then in that little hesitation, that also hesitated. You see him? He started in, then he had to go back out. Then that also made Emmitt Smith hold the ball for a while. That's why they didn't get any gain.
Hesitation by both. Suolua stays in to block. Aikman under pressure, and down he goes. William Thomas. And Aikman still down.
William Thomas made a couple of big plays in this series. One, he was the guy that was guarding Herschel Walker when Aikman tried to throw to him early. That time, he just went right by Emmitt Smith.
Aikman gets up slowly.
He's going to come from the outside here, and you're going to see Emmitt Smith try and block him. There he is right there. He just goes right through Emmitt Smith and grabs Troy Aikman.
Aikman down on one knee. As you look at the end of that play and see what happened. Aikman got up very slowly and went back down on one knee.
Where's your father?
You don't want to know.
Here he comes.
Whoa! Watch out, Dad!
Yeah. Here he comes.
Introducing Chevy Venture.
The only minivan that offers a remote control door. Pretty convenient, huh?
Oh, Dad.
What? The all-new Chevy Venture is here.
Let's go.
Good idea.
I never met a quarterback. Never met a quarterback I like.
I want to take him out. It's sissies. They're a bunch of pretty boys. Pretty boys. No ifs and buts about it.
A bunch of, watch out. They're easy to intimidate. I can taste it when I hit them hard. Easier to dominate. Just a bunch of prima donnas. Take out the prima donna. Prima donnas. That's what I'm paid to do.
I'm just shocked they know the word prima donna.
Nike Play Corps presents.
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner and wave for the land and of the free and the home of the brave.
Unless you see this episode, you won't be ready for the season premiere of The X-Files. The X-Files, tonight at 9, 8 Central on Fox.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Pizza Hut. Enjoy today's game with the Edge Pizza, new from Pizza Hut. 16 pieces of pure toppings. Have you been to the Edge?
Watch Troy Aikman here. Watch the hit that Jimmy Jones is going to get out right there. You see him, he had William Thomas had him by the back, and then Jimmy Jones hit him right in the head. Then that head just snapped right back.
And that's Wade Wilson at quarterback for Dallas now. Retreats with no warm-up to throw. Pass complete to Eric Bjornsson. Not nearly enough for a first down. There's Herschel Walker. That's why Su'Alua stayed in the game at fullback. Walker, I don't know what happened to him.
Well, the last play that we saw Herschel Walker on, it was on that pass that Troy Aikman was trying to throw to him when William Thomas had him covered.
So Aikman and Walker both out. And unless I'm wrong, I saw George Hageman limping a moment ago as well. Mark Say fields the punt at about the 20-yard line, about the 18 make it. That's Troy Aikman under the Cowboy hood.
Yeah, and it was the hit. William Thomas really started the sack, and then Jimmy Jones, in fact, Jimmy Jones, the ex-Cowboy, he comes around, and if you'll just watch, here's Thomas, and then you'll see Jimmy Jones come around. Here comes Jimmy Jones right here, and watch when he goes helmet to helmet right there, and that how that just snapped Troy Aikman's head back.
That had to make a very loud noise, and that was a pretty good pop. Here's Rodney Peete. Irving Fryer to about the 24.
You know,
Fred Strickland made the stop. Excuse me.
No, I was just going to say, Pat, the interesting thing, we saw that Rodney Peete and Irving Fryer were talking about that play, and it was darn near intercepted the last time by the Cowboys, and they talked about it, and they made that adjustment. It looked like he went inside a little more and shortened it down, because remember the last time they threw that, Kevin Smith almost intercepted it.
Should have been an interception, as a matter of fact. Very close. Second down, about 4. He gets to Waters, and he won't get it. Troy Aikman over on the sideline. They're still looking at him, still checking him.
You know, he went down, Pat. Watch him right here. He got up, and then he thought he was okay. And then there's a point when you stand up and the stuff doesn't work properly. He realized that he wasn't, and he took a knee again. They're giving him the test now.
That's Herschel Walker in front of him in a T-shirt. Here's Rodney Peete on third. And the rush comes. And Peete is taken down. Tony Tolbert and Tony Casillas.
Yeah, Tony Tolbert was the first guy. He went right by Barrett Brooks. Brooks barely got a hand on him.
Dallas leads 3-0. the first quarter.
Mrs. Banks.
Get that stupid thing away.
A desperate man.
Are you going to listen now?
An ambitious reporter.
Big bucks. Show business.
A situation gone mad.
He has enough dynamite in there to level the place.
Stop this nonsense! No!
Dustin Hoffman.
You're erasing everything we built. You buried yourself.
John Travolta.
Everybody knows about it if I get mad. Now sit down!
Mad City. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, November 7th.
I'm Kenny, a friend of Dick's. Miller Lite has asked me to find 4 cheerleaders to send to the Super Bowl. Today you're going to meet the Caesar brothers from Hawaii, USA. They have their own way of looking at cheerleading. So what do you think, America?
Rah!
Could the Caesar brothers be cheerleaders? Help us out. Participate where you buy and drink Miller Lite.
What if there were shortcuts only you knew about? There are. At Shell. Where it's easy to pay, pump, and go. Shell, moving at the speed of life.
Dallas 3, Philadelphia nothing. We'll start the second quarter with the Eagles about to punt, the Cowboys about to get the ball, and Wade Wilson is the quarterback. Dallas punt returns are second, mostly because of Deion Sanders.
And if he gets his hands on the ball with 10 yards of separation, this can be very, very interesting.
He says there's always a seam. You just have to find it. Ray Rhodes has told his punter, Tommy Hutton, I don't care how far you kick it, just keep it up there a long time so we can get down under it. Blocked by Brock Marion. He was there first. They put the heat on Hutton, and Dallas takes over in great shape. Recovered by Kavika Pittman.
Tom Hutton was worried about getting the hang time, and he didn't get the ball off. What's his pressure straight up the middle? Oh, he didn't even have a chance.
No, he had no chance.
Brock Marion almost beat the ball there. Watch Brock Marion. He's going to come straight up the middle right there. He comes from the outside, then he straightens up and comes right up, and that is slow. I mean, by the time he gets the ball and gets it rotated, Brock Marion is there and almost passed him by.
Yeah. If he didn't get it, Stoudemire was there. He probably could have blocked it.
Oh, Tom Hutton was awfully slow on that. You should be able to get that off.
Sherman Williams is the ball carrier to the Philadelphia 25. Darren Smith made the stop.
And if there's any area, you know, we talked about the, you always talk about the offense and the defense, but if there's any area that the Cowboys have a big advantage, it's in special teams. The Cowboys have very good special teams. The Eagles do not have good special teams.
And the difference really does show up.
I mean, you start the opening kickoff of the game. Yeah. I mean, the Cowboys brought it almost back to midfield, and then they get the punt. They block the punt, and they do all those things that the Eagles don't do.
That was Cowboys special team coach Joe Avizano. Here's Wade Wilson back to throw. Wilson throws outside to Michael Irvin. Irvin out of bounds. The Dallas first down.
Michael Irvin again being covered by Troy Vincent, and that time he runs a crossing pattern. You see, they move Michael Irvin around too. He starts in motion, then he's going to come up, then he's going to run this way to his right across the field, and then he just runs away from Troy Vincent. See, he starts up, then he starts in, then he goes back to the outside, and by moving him around like that, moving him in motion, and then bringing him in and back, you don't get a good bump on him.
Wade Wilson. Walker is back in the game. The handoff is to Sherman Williams inside the 10 to about the 9. The word on Walker was that he has a neck strain, and obviously he's back in the game. The word on Aikman is that he too has a neck strain, and his return we're not sure about.
Yeah, I don't know that if his head is completely clear either. I mean, he may have a neck strain, but in addition to that, his head hasn't cleared up. You can just tell by looking at him.
2nd and 7 at the 10 for Dallas. They lead 3-0. Here's Wilson. Pass is caught by Anthony Miller, and he works his way to about the 6. Wade Wilson with no warm-up looks pretty sharp.
Well, anytime you've been in this league for 17 years, you don't need a lot of warm-ups because over your career you've done a lot of warming up.
That's the truth.
Wade Wilson's been to a lot of training camps. He's been on a lot of practice fields, and he's been doing this for a long time. And that's what your backup has to be able to do. Not have a lot of practice, not get a lot of reps, but if the starter comes down, come in and take over the game plan.
He hasn't been in the bullpen warming up. He came off the bench cold. The pass is right through the arms of Herschel Walker.
Yeah, Wade Wilson did his part on that when he hits Anthony Miller on the second half. Then he hits right here. This is a perfect throw right there. I mean, that just goes right through Herschel Walker's hand. You have to be able, because you want that thing let. You don't want that one thrown behind you. You want it where you can just catch it in stride and keep it going. It went right through Herschel Walker's hands.
A little short arm, as they call it. Cunningham for the field goal. And Dallas leads 6-0.
Found some quiet, you got some room.
Time to enjoy life and none too soon.
So kick your feet up
and pull your seat up. Start making whoopee.
You got the moves, your second wind.
Oh, the ride is thrilling, so let the fun begin.
You've earned it all, folks.
And here's the call, folks, for making whoopee.
The new 98 DeVille for the time of your life.
I wasn't looking for love. With just a glance it happened. Love came looking for me. Get out of my way!
Evander Holyfield beat Mike Tyson. Then he beat him again. He beat Foreman and Bo, too. He beat everybody. Everybody except IBF champion Michael Moorer. Holyfield, Moorer 2. World Heavyweight Championship. One of 4 championship fights coming soon. Sponsored by Budweiser. Live on pay-per-view from the Mirage. Evander, you beat everybody. Except. Call your cable or satellite company.
NFL Sunday is brought to you by Cadillac DeVille for the time of your life. By Pizza Hut. Enjoy today's game with the Edge Pizza, new from Pizza Hut. 16 pieces of pure toppings. Have you been to the Edge? And by Shell, moving at the speed of light.
Veterans Stadium, Aikman headed for the locker room. Word to us from the bench was that he has a strained neck.
And we saw him sitting on the bench, and he kept grabbing that neck area.
Deuce Staley comes out for the Eagle to about the 28.
You know, one thing is that should fire up the Eagles. I mean, anytime that you have a player like Troy Aikman, who's the big quarterback for the other team, and you see him walking off the field, you know that you come into the game thinking you had a pretty good chance, and then when you see this, you have to think now we got him. Now we got him where we want him. You know, let's go get him. Let's go get these guys. If they've ever been vulnerable, they're never more vulnerable than they are right now.
Well, Aikman has left the arena. This is a pitch back to Ricky Waters. A lot of shoulder movement, but not many yards.
Well, you know, he tried to go inside in the first quarter. They've been trying to get the ball to Ricky Waters to get some running established, and they've tried to do it inside, and they haven't been able to. So now they're just moving it outside, figuring, well, if there's nothing inside, maybe we can get to the outside. And anytime you run outside at the Cowboys, you always run to your left, their right, and try and take advantage of this guy, Deion Sanders, right there.
3 wide receivers. Pete to Fryer, who makes the catch. Again, the ball was kind of behind him, but he still came up with it.
Yeah, Irving Fryer and Rodney Peete both said, you know, that we are going to run these things, that you can run inside patterns. You can run slants like right there, and you can run crossing patterns against Deion. But Rodney Peete better get it out in front of Fryer, and that could be a bigger play. Rodney Pete's been a little off throwing behind his receivers most of this game.
Third, about a half-yard, 2 tight ends set up for Philadelphia. That's Waters with the ball. He got enough for the first. Looked like a little more might develop out of that, but it didn't.
Yeah, Fred Strickland stepped up and took it away. It looked like there was a little hole there, and then Cowboy middle linebacker Fred Strickland did what he was supposed to do and just stepped up there. Not in time to stop it from getting to be a first down, but in time to stop it from being anything more than that.
1st and 10 Eagles. 3 wide receivers set up for the Eagles. And Fryer is the man in motion. Here's Rodney Peete to throw it. Overthrew Ricky Waters. Went right through his hands. Screen pass set up.
The screen pass is getting to be a much bigger player, making a comeback in the National Football League. We saw that earlier thing of the 49ers running a screen, and this is going to be Ricky Waters, where he goes here, and then see on a screen you fake like you're blocking, and then you go out to your right or left and get behind your lineman. That time, as you said, the ball just went right through Ricky Waters' hands. In fact, the ball went through, then he closed his hands. You misjudged that one.
Charlie Garner split wide to the left. Here's Rodney Peete. Pass complete to Irving Fryer. About 8. Charlie Williams made the stop on Fryer.
Yeah, I mean, Irving Fryer is just such a big, strong guy that if you're big and strong, you can run hooks and you can run slants, anything to the inside. See him push off here, just run a slant.
Yep.
He just goes up and pushes and then takes off inside. In fact, he says, you know, officials are letting wide receivers get away with more and more, it seems like every game, so he's taking as much as they'll give him.
3rd and 2, Peete rolls right, throws to Fryer, who let the ball get right through his hand. I don't think he was expecting it so quickly.
Well, again, you know, he should, because it was a 3rd and short, and that was kind of a play that's designed to pick up a first down on that situation.
And they would have had it.
Yeah, it was a sprint out. Rodney Peete sprinted out, and it's going to be a pass that's thrown quicker.
Deion Sanders standing back at about the 14-yard line. Hutton, whose first punt was blocked by Brock Marion. A little bit quicker this time. Short kick. Down at about the 26. A flag on the play back at the line of scrimmage.
That wasn't much of a punt, Pat. I think that went 26 yards.
Holding, and it's going to be against Dallas, and that'll give the Eagles a first down.
Tom Hutton's probably the most relieved guy, or he'll probably be glad when this game's over. He doesn't have to play the Cowboys anymore.
10 yards. First down.
Jerry Austin again, the referee. First down, Eagles. You can see the rain driving down. Pittman, number 97. Dallas 6, the Eagles nothing. 9:22 left.
It says here, the internet is the future of business. We have to be on the internet.
Why?
Doesn't say.
If it were a guy's world, this would be your 9 to 5, and you'd always be cool. But in the real world, guys sweat 40% more than women. Guys need the protection of Speed Stick antiperspirant. Speed Stick, protection just for the guys.
I hit 10 golf balls in the woods, my driver's in there too. My best drive all day long was to the drive-through.
Did somebody say McDonald's? You got the moves, your second wind. The ride is thrilling, so let the fun begin. You've got the car now for who you are now, and making good
The new 98 DeVille for the time of your life.
Join the Fox NFL Sunday pregame team live from San Francisco as they preview the Cowboys Niners. Coverage begins at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific.
Watch Kavika Pittman. He's number 97. He's going to get the hold. Now, the Cowboys get the ball back because the penalty where he holds is after the ball's kicked. See, the ball was kicked. Now watch Pittman right there. He's going to pull his guy down. You see him right there? There's the hold right there. So they're saying it was a post-possession penalty. Therefore, the Cowboys get the ball.
They at first said it was an Eagle first down. Then it was a post-possession foul. And it was a Cowboy first down after the penalty. The pass from Wilson to Walker again is incomplete on first down Cowboys. So
you know, they're trying to throw those flat or short passes to Herschel Walker, and the Eagles are defending them well. I mean, the balls are thrown well, and you have to catch those passes, but the defenders are right there waiting for them, like Charles Dimry was on that play.
2nd and 10. Pitch back to Emmett Smith. Emmett Smith outside the 30, a Dallas first down behind Larry Allen. Mike Mamula made the stop from the other side in pursuit, but good blocking by the Cowboys.
Yeah, that was good blocking, and Emmett Smith didn't finish it off. You know, and that's the thing where I think Emmett Smith is a little different this year. Is you got that run and you got good blocking. There's no one there, and now when you get here, now finish it off. Now just run through stuff. Don't get knocked out of bounds and get knocked around like that. I mean, just finish it off and try and score a touchdown.
1st and 10. A handoff to Emmett. Smith picks up about 3, crosses the 35, stopped by James Willis.
Yeah, you know, they used to block a lot better. I mean, the offensive line of the Cowboys was better, and Emmett Smith would break more tackles. It seems like now when he gets there and that first group gets him, that's going to be the end of the run. Where, you know, a couple of years ago that wasn't the end of the run. That was some start of some pretty good action.
2nd down. Walker on the move. The Eagles showing blitz. Emmett Smith tackled just as he headed upfield. Hollis Thomas made the stop.
What happened is they really went an overload on the side of the lead. They saw the side that Herschel Walker was on, and he would have to be the lead. So the Eagle defense goes and overloads that side. So now they force him into a cutback. Watch when Herschel Walker comes over here. Watch what that defense does there. Now they're all bunched up over there, and that forces Emmett Smith to cut back, and he cuts back right into Hollis Thomas.
3rd down. Wilson back to throw. Wade Wilson's chased. Doesn't get the first down. William Thomas again on the stop.
Yeah, well, remember Pat, Richard Dent? He's the guy that's in there now. He's the pass rushing specialist for the Eagles. He's trying to get over the guard there and get away from Eric Williams. He just gets a push up the middle, though, and he's the guy that kind of flushed old Wade Wilson out of there.
Flannery and Eric Williams on the block on Dent.
I think Dent went and lined up over Flannery instead of lining up over Eric Williams, and Eric Williams went and got him anyway.
Goins kick. Takes an Eagle bounce. The Cowboys touch it at about the 31-yard line, and it continues to go back in the Eagles' favor. Philadelphia will take over with Dallas leading 6-0.
Imagine you stand accused of murder.
You will be sentenced to death.
Who would you trust?
I'm innocent.
Richard Gere.
You are in contempt. What are you gonna do? You gonna shoot me twice?
Red Corner. Rated R. Starts Friday at theaters everywhere.
Right now, get some of Goodyear's best selected tires like Aqua Treads, Eagles, and Wranglers, and get $50 or $75 good towards officially licensed NFL merchandise at participating Goodyear retailers. Call 1-800-GOODYEAR. Great Goodyear treads, incredible NFL threads.
I went to Taco Bell. I put a gang piece on my forehead, and I won a Hummer, and it's huge.
If you're looking for the $250,000 Taco Bell winner, he's not home right now. He's in Italy, then France, Amsterdam.
We each want a Jeep Wrangler at Taco Bell.
Now my friends want me to help them move.
Real people really do win prizes at Taco Bell.
Taco Bell, want some? You could win a Porsche Boxster in the upcoming Nintendo promotion starting November 6th at Taco Bell.
Nicholson, Pfeiffer. When the full moon rises, the beast will hunt.
Don't look so scared.
Wolf, Tuesday at 8, 7 Central on Fox.
6-0 Dallas leading Philadelphia. Coaching staffs for both teams upstairs. Pat Summerall here with John Madden. Philadelphia has the ball. Rodney Pete's the quarterback. Charlie Garner is the deep back. He brings a little different pace. That's Garner. Tumbling to the outside, picked up about 3.
You know, yesterday when we were talking to Ray Rhodes, he says the guys that he wanted to get involved early, he says, you want to get Irving Fryer, and of course they have. He has 5 touches. They say they want to get the ball to Charlie Garner. He's had 1, just had his 2nd right there. Kevin Turner hasn't had any, and of course Ricky Waters has had 6. So those are the guys that they want to get involved in the game early. The only guy they really have is Kevin Turner.
Cowboys showing blitz. The Eagles pick it up. Rodney Pete scrambles out of bounds and is hit, and a flag goes down as Pete headed out of bounds. Hit by Tony Tolbert.
Look at Barry Switzer there. He's saying that it wasn't out of bounds. He's almost in a...
Unnecessary roughness. Number 92 of the defense. 15 yards. First down.
Switzer looked like he was about to cry.
That's what I was going to say. But there's Tony Tolbert, number 92. He comes off for coverage. Now now Pete is out of bounds already, and he just gives him that little push is what it was. You know, here's Fred Strickland. You watch number 55. You see he starts in there, and he's going to get in there and get that position that really flushes Rodney Pete to the outside. Because Strickland came to the inside, now Tolbert has outside contained. And as far as the rules go, Rodney Pete was out of bounds, and Tony Tolbert did hit him.
After that penalty, the Eagles have a first down at the Cowboy 46. Fryer's the man in motion, and Pete calls a timeout.
Yeah, I think he was looking at the play clock and running out of time on the play clock.
Philadelphia has 2 timeouts left.
Sorry.
Late for work? Try the new Accord V6 Coupe from Honda.
Boys, check it out. Coach.
Check it out.
Dawson, nice tattoo.
You've been traded to Miami.
Gonna be a while? Grab a Snickers.
What do you think?
It's a fish.
That's right, a fish.
Good morning. This is your wake-up call. And this is the Norelco Reflex Action Razor. Anything closer could be too close for comfort.
You gotta play hard! Go, 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 go! Rock and roll, there you go, Beans, in the National Football League! 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Quan, touchdown!
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by the 1998 Honda Accord, an Accord like no other.
Eagle first down at the Cowboy 46. 2 tight end setup. Handoff to Garner. Garner taken down by Brock Marion. Aflac trivia question time. And who is the only player to have a 1,000-yard receiving season with 3 different teams? 1,000 yards with 3 different teams. Any ideas?
Is he playing in this game? Is he on the field now as we speak?
I don't know. He probably might be somewhere.
No, on this field.
I don't think so. I could be wrong. He might be.
I think he is.
Pass is incomplete to Irving Fryer right now for a McDonald's game break. Let's return to James Brown at the Fox Television Center in Hollywood.
Pat, San Francisco moving out just a bit more over New Orleans. Gary Anderson with a 36-yard field goal. That's his 12th straight this season. It's a 10-0 $40 lead. Back to Pat Summerall and John Madden.
4:43 left to play in the second quarter. 6-0 Dallas. Philadelphia ball. At the Dallas 43.
This is the area that the Eagles have problems with their passing game, and Rodney Peete is third and anything over 6 or 7.
They go with 4 wide receivers. Peete out of the pocket. He'll have time now. The pass is complete to Mark Say. Enough for a first down.
And Rodney Peete really bought time on that one because Tony Tolbert went by Barrett Brooks, and he really has a sack. If you watch it up here and you watch Tolbert right here, he gets into the backfield, but Rodney Peete makes a move on him. Watch him right there. You see he steps up, then he steps out, buys some time, and gets a first down. Rodney Peete got that first down with the move that he made on Tony Tolbert. You know the guy that knows that the most is Tony Tolbert.
Tolbert, right. Four wide receivers set up again. Peete retreats and the blitz is coming. And the pass is picked off, I
believe. They're blowing whistles. So
Kevin Smith.
This isn't going to count with Kevin Smith to run. The interception part may count. But
maybe.
Because I do see someone spotting it. The Cowboys were, it was a first down play, and the Cowboys were in their 3-man line.
Yep.
And they had Bill Bates in there, so they were using a form of a nickel defense on fourth down. You see the 3 defensive linemen. There's Bill Bates coming in the middle. In fact, they bring 3 defensive backs on that play.
No interception. No interception. They're saying he trapped it now. I think that's an interception. I think that's an interception.
I think Kevin Smith's hands were under that ball. I think it hit his hands under it.
2 tight end setup. Charlie Garner picking his way, gets very little. That Aflac trivia question. John's question was, is he in this game the only player to have 1,000-yard receiving seasons with 3 different teams? And I think he is. And I think that might be Irving Fryer.
Yep.
With the Patriots, the Dolphins, and the Eagles.
And a guy who, they talk about, players that are changes and they're changing their imaging and their image and so on. And Irving Fryer is a guy that not only changed his image, but he really turned his entire life around.
He lives the changes. Here's Peete back to throw. Firing deep, incomplete. Intended for Timpson.
I think Michael Timpson could have had something there because there wasn't a free safety there, but Rodney Peete, you see, he's going to get pressure, and he doesn't get a chance to really step up. Although he got hit after he threw that ball, but that's the time that you want to throw. Anytime there's no one in the middle, if you can just wait, and you just see that if we stop it here, and you can see that there's no one in this area here, now you can take and you can lead that ball. That's the perfect time to have that play called.
Chris Boniol on the field now. Missed his only field goal attempt today from 52 yards away. This one will be 47. He was well short from 52. He, of course, the Dallas kicker last year. High snap. Boniol's kick won't get there.
Boy, Eagle kicking has been ugly in this first half.
It really has. The specialists don't kick like specialists.
In this great world, I go just where I please.
Right now, all Goodyear tires are on sale at Sears, like Eagles and Wranglers.
And I say, roll like a wheel, it's time to roll.
All Goodyear tires on sale through November 5th.
Tell us the truth, Dr. Trang. Which battery will last over 30% longer in these digital cameras? Duracell or Energizer?
Energizer.
Well, lucky bunny.
.257 left to play in the first half. 6-0 Dallas. Wade Wilson, the Dallas quarterback. Aikman was taken to the locker room. Wilson's down. Blitz got him. Mamula and Rhett Hall. That wasn't a blitz.
Yeah, I think Rhett Hall was the first guy in there. Here, Mamula's going to come from out here. Rhett Hall gets the pressure straight up the middle. See, Mamula's outside. Rhett Hall right there. They didn't block Rhett Hall.
They were blitzing.
Yeah, and what happens is they let Rhett Hall go, and I think Herschel Walker was supposed to pick him up, and Rhett Hall ran right by Herschel Walker.
4 straight games Rhett Hall has had a sack. 2nd down and very long. Wade Wilson pitches back to Emmitt Smith. Smith gets some of it back. Gets outside the 40. Rhett Hall made the stop.
Rhett Hall's from Live Oak High School in Morgan Hill, California.
How do you know that?
No, I just thought I'd throw that in there. You wonder where guys come from, and went to Gavilan Junior College and went to the University of California and played for the 49ers. All about Rhett Hall.
2 minutes left in the first half.
Presenting the play that made the difference. Brought to you by Wendy's, where freshness is what makes the difference. In Week 5 against the Chargers, the Ravens took wing and a 3-point second-half lead. Could the Lightning Bolt strike for a comeback win? Stay tuned.
Dave Thomas is looking for people who haven't tried Wendy's fresh stuffed pitas.
May I approach the bench, Your Honor?
Please.
According to our records, you haven't tried our new pitas.
I guess I'm guilty.
Well, there's 4 to choose from. My favorite is the chicken Caesar.
I'll take that into consideration.
All 4 of Wendy's delicious pitas are stuffed full of crisp vegetables, and we have 2 with tender chunks of chicken breast.
These are great.
Say, Judge, you know Charlie Small.
I do. He should be back in 2 to 3.
Don't be the last one to try them.
On the final play of the 3rd quarter, San Diego went deep and came away with the game's final score.
Touchdown, San Diego!
A terrific toss and catch, and Week 5's most pivotal moment.
Listen, Charlie, there's no way that my client is going to go for something like this. And what is with this paragraph? Listen, Charlie, you're killing me here. You've been through this a million times, Charlie. Yeah.
The Civic sedan from Honda.
No.
What more do you need?
Charlie, I gotta go. Somebody's here.
Halloween night, Frank Black confronts a messenger from hell.
The time is near. There's no way he can lose.
An all-new Millennium, Friday at 9, 8 Central.
Okay. Dallas 6, Philadelphia nothing. 2 minutes left before halftime. Cowboys have the ball 3rd and about 7 at their own 42. We're still waiting for information on Troy Aikman. The only thing we have is that he has a strained neck. Here comes the Eagle blitz against Wade Wilson, who's going deep. Flag on the play. The pass is caught by Michael Irvin. But there was a penalty marker on the play. Wilson saw the blitz coming and lofted it down to Irvin.
Face mask, number 59 of the defense, 5 yards from
Mike Mamula.
So this is going to count right here.
Yep.
Because it's against Mamula and the Eagles anyway. Now Michael Irvin makes a heck of a move and then makes a heck of a catch holding on to that
penalty
thing.
is declined. First down.
There's a penalty right there, and Mike Mamula, he grabbed Wade Wilson's face mask after he threw the ball, but that was a heck of a throw by Wade Wilson, a heck of a catch by Michael Irvin. And then that's why, you know, the receivers always have to work on hands so that they have strong hands to hold on to the ball. There's Mamula. He takes an inside move here.
And he's going
to reach up. You see it, he just grabs with his left hand there as he goes by. But the ball was gone.
First down, Dallas. The handoff to Emmett Smith, and Emmett gets down to about the 21-yard line. They're well within field goal range. Hollis Thomas made the stop. They'd like to get more than a field goal, obviously.
Yeah, I'm not a coach anymore, but the one thing that I think that Emmett Smith has to do is keep his feet moving longer. I think he stops his feet too soon now.
Who are these people? They go to the strangest places, work in the tightest quarters, and gladly keep the oddest hours. Who are they? Forever probing and prodding, digging, exploring. Who are these people? They are Texaco, and what they do is find the energy the world needs to keep on running. Texaco, a world of energy.
Back at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, Pat Summerall with John Madden. 6-0 Dallas leads, 2nd and 6 for the Cowboys at the Eagle 22-yard line.
You know, an interesting thing, the Eagles just took out Mike Mamula.
Johnson was the man in motion. That's Emmett Smith. About 3 yards. Word we just received is that Troy Aikman is still in uniform, is in the locker room. The doctors are talking with him. Possible concussion they're talking about. Possible. Still has the neck strain that we told you about earlier, but possible concussion. May or may not be back. I suppose it depends on whether or not he has a concussion.
And I think they probably decided that they're going to take the time at least through halftime to determine what they're going to do with Troy Aikman for the second half.
Wade Wilson, meanwhile, has done a good job. Lofted deep. No flag this time. Vincent back with Aikman.
That has been a heck of a physical matchup there. Barry Switzer's asking for it. He thinks that Troy Vincent is getting too physical out there with Michael Irvin, but that's the way they're letting him play today.
Yep.
You see, he just took him and put his right hand up there, and he's looking back, and he just rolled him right out of bounds. And the key thing there, you watch Barry Switzer there. He wants the flag, he wants the flag, he wants the flag. But the key thing was that Troy Vincent looked back at the ball.
Michael Irvin limping off the field a bit.
Yeah, well, Troy Vincent on that play rode him right out of bounds. Watch him. See, Michael Irvin didn't get physical at all. Troy Vincent is just riding him with his head and his arm right out of bounds. And it looked like he may have tripped over the pylon.
He stepped on his foot.
Well, that's the way a physical corner plays against a physical receiver.
Coming up on the Dockers Khakis halftime report, we'll bring you scores and highlights from around the league. Also, our Fox Sports ticker will have up to the second stats. That's all coming up on the Dockers Khakis halftime report. Timeout. This one by Dallas. They have one left.
You know, one thing that Ray Rhodes does, he does a heck of a job motivating his teams, and, you know, just generally. and then specifically motivating a corner to do a job. You know, it had been Bobby Taylor, and today he has motivated Troy Vincent to be physical against Michael Irvin.
Cunningham from 35 yards out. Johnson the holder. Cunningham is true again. 9-0. Dallas leads. It's the final countdown to the season premiere of The X-Files. And unless you see this episode, you won't be ready 1 week from tonight for the television event of the year, The X-Files season's premiere. The countdown continues tonight at 8 Central here on Fox.
And we see Michael Irvin talking to the official over there, and again, it's talking about that physicalness. You know, what can he do? And if he can do that, then what can I do? I think he's laughing now where the guy said, okay, it's okay to be physical.
Michael Irvin's going to do whatever it takes.
Yeah, and then he's going and telling Deion Sanders, hey, the official just told me you can do this, so you do what Troy Vincent's been doing to me.
Right. 9-0 Dallas lead.
But as far as a cover corner, Deion Sanders doesn't need a lot of, hey, you know what you have to do. He knows what he has to do.
Deuce Staley back deep for the Eagles. Toby going to set to kick it off. Staley's going to field it at about the 1. Upended. The ball loose. The ball is loose. And Dallas saying, we got it.
And the officials are pointing to the ground. That means he was down. What they're saying is that he was down before the ball came out. When the official comes up and points to the ground, he's saying no fumble.
Looks like Deuce Staley hits the ground.
Yeah, I mean, he has the ball when he hits
yeah.
the ground, and the ground can't cause a fumble. And that's what that official was doing. He called it right now. He came up and he was pointing to the ground. Joe Avizano doesn't buy it, but the official did come running up, pointing to the ground all the way.
It was not for sale, whether he bought it or not. Short pass to Ricky Waters. Nothing doing there that's going to
Yeah, that's one thing
too much.
The defense of the Cowboys, the thing they talked about doing was keeping Ricky Waters under control, and they sure have done that this first half.
Yep. Dave Campo has done a remarkable job with this Dallas defense. I mean, they've changed their whole philosophy. There's Dave Campo. Changed their whole philosophy from 2 years ago. Yeah, and they're still very effective.
And he's lost some great players.
Yeah.
I mean, you take a Charles Haley out of there. I mean, Charles Haley was one of the great pass rushers. You take a Leon Lett not playing, Darren Woodson not playing today. And he's had to go from he doesn't have a dominant pass rusher now. So of course the Cowboys have gone to a lot more blitzing.
Here's Rodney Peete back to throw. Steps up in the pocket, still running in the pocket, gets it outside to Ricky Waters, who steps off enough yardage to get a first down.
And then all that buys is one more play anyway. I think this is just going to be one that you have to heave it deep and hope for pass interference, because you know that the game or the half cannot end on a defensive penalty.
9-0. I don't know if he got enough for a first down before he stepped out of bounds or not.
No, there's still one more play anyway. But they're still going to just throw it up anyway. And again, he can't throw it far enough to get into the end zone, so he has to hope for a defensive penalty.
Fumble and snap from center.
I tell you, the Eagles had an ugly half.
They really
when you look at some of the things they've done on offense and some of the things their punter and kicker have done. It's been a ugly first half for the Eagles.
That's the end of the first half with the score. Dallas 9, Philadelphia 0. Fox NFL Sunday will continue with the Dockers Khakis halftime report after these messages and a word from your local Fox station.
Sunday through Friday, Halloween screams on Fox.
You trying to scare me?
With an all-new Simpsons and King of the Hill. You'll believe in werewolves. Pfeiffer and Nicholson in the network premiere of Wolf. Plus, an explosive Halloween night on Millennium. Halloween Screams on Fox starting tonight.
And the alien invasion begins on the episode you've been waiting for, The Visitor, Halloween Night.
For all today's highlights and scores, watch Sports Sunday exclusively on the Fox 10 o'clock news.
Well, if I had money, I'd tell you what to do. I'd go downtown, buy a Ford truck or two.
It's here. Ford Ranger, America's favorite compact pickup, is back. Redesigned with more power, more toughness, more fun. And you can get the fun started for a whole lot less than you thought. Right now, you can get into a new Ranger for just $172 a month for 24 months. So check out the new Ford Ranger at your Quality Plus Ford dealer today and start some fun.
You love him more than life itself. Now, how do you get him to groom himself a little better for all those times you take him out? Easy. You take him to a place you found in your Bell Atlantic Yellow Pages, where people go to buy, find, or do just about anything.
My prayer is to linger with you at the end of the day in a dream that's divine.
In a world of imitators, one has to look closely to find the original. Luckily, among 4x4s, an original bears these distinctive markings: full-time four-wheel drive, uniframe construction, quadricoil suspension, and an available V8. Features found together only on Jeep Grand Cherokee. There may be imitators, but there is only one original. Now lease a Grand Cherokee for $0 down, $349 a month, and $844 due at signing at your Jeep dealer.
Dockers Halftime, brought to you by Dockers Khakis. The next best thing to a 99-yard run. Hey, nice pants.
Back here in Hollywood with a full house for the Dockers halftime. Let's get you caught up on what's taking place. Dallas, not much offense. 3 field goals. That's the healthiest Troy Aikman would be in the first half, Terry.
Aikman hoping to get this offense on track, steps up into the pocket. There he's knocked down by William Thomas. Along comes Jimmy Jones, helmet to helmet. Strained neck, but then reported later a concussion. Aikman leaves the game. Eagles, horrible in special teams. Doesn't change a bit. Tommy Hutton punt blocked by Brock Marin. Ball only goes 8 yards. Don't forget the Monday night game, 21-20. Hutton fumbles a snap from center. There you have it, Cowboys. And Emmitt Smith with 65 yards rushing, leading the Eagles at half.
Boy, how do you put your hands together to beat San Francisco?
I don't know. I do not know. Counter. There it is. Play action counter left. Throwback screen. Garrison Hurst, 19-yard touchdown. 49ers looking good. Howie Long talking about screen passes. Now, back comes Werfel, looking left, sack, knocked down. Once again, no pass protection, even with a tight end and 2 backs in. Werfel stepping up, cover 2 safeties split the seams. Zach Bronson right there. Werfel fires it right to him. There you have it, Saints with now having 9 turnovers in the last 2 games, with the 49ers leading at half, 13-0.
So much information from you, my gosh.
Like a computer, JB.
Broncos 10-0 over the Bills. That's a halftime score. Baltimore and Washington. Redskins run defense still sucks. Right now, Ravens up by 7. Bengals 21-10 over the Giants. Cincinnati has won only 1 game this season, looking for a second. Chiefs by 10 over the Rams, 17-7. I know you're upset. How can I say that about my team? That's a Harvard word. That's a Harvard word indeed, boy, but it is atrocious. Anyway, Dallas, Philadelphia. What can the Eagles do? Ricky Waters only 12 first half yards.
That's right. Now, I think they got to get the ball to Kevin Turner, the fullback. They got to get the ball to him in the flat. Also, they got to get the ball to Timpson on the other side. I mean, Urban Fryer is stepping up, but Michael Timpson has to get the job done.
Well, I've been in the back room right up until this halftime working on this information, and I can tell you this. Emmitt Smith needs to do a better job of picking up the extra defender coming on the blitz. They have picked it up with their offensive line, and he's missed 2 blocks, one of them very costly in that sack that forced Troy Aikman out of the game.
Now, won't you leave Emmett alone? I mean, after all, he's got 65 yards rushing. Let's look at the positive.
I have always talked about Emmett being an outstanding pass protector. He has not been today. Well, I just call it the way I see it.
That's good to see this.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
And I was working on that in the back room right up until halftime.
That's good to see.
I sprinted out here, pulled a hamstring getting here.
Well, how about 31 opportunities, 31 possessions that the Cowboys have had inside the 20. 20 times they've settled for field goals, only 9 touchdowns. Once again, the red zone, inside the 20, plaguing the Cowboys on the road. They need touchdowns against the Eagles.
You know, you've had an effect on everybody here. Ronnie's been blasting people. Howie says he hates somebody today.
I don't blast people.
All right, folks. Sorry.
I'm upset with Howie, though.
Got
Your mama will be calling.
Got a serious note to pass along here, folks, to you. Rankin Smith, the owner and chairman of the board of the Atlanta Falcons, has died. Smith, who was responsible for bringing pro football and the Super Bowl to Atlanta, died of heart failure at a local hospital. He was 72 years of age. And from all of us here at Fox Sports, our thoughts are with the Falcons and their families and Rankin Smith's son, Taylor Smith. Doctors Halftime continues after this.
There's a war on crime going on in America.
Your house is next.
And the most powerful weapon in that war is the video camera.
You're on camera, dude.
For every crime, there is a consequence.
The police are coming.
Video Justice 2. An all-new 1-hour special Thursday on Fox. Viewer discretion advised. Next Sunday, incredible secrets will be exposed. The X-Files season premiere next Sunday at 9, 8 Central on Fox.
This is Barry Sanders Field. Where he learned to run. Where we learned his moves. He spins, he jukes.
He's like crazy, you know. Barry used to play flag football. He said if someone can't grab your flag,
there's no way they'll ever be able to tackle you.
he's like a pinball.
This is Barry Sanders Field, where we learn to play.
Football is football no matter where you play.
Here it comes. Good morning, men. You are the top high school football coaches in America. You understand that football is more than a game. It's a test of dedication and heart. Football is a test of character. And when an athlete leaves your program, Coach Holt, he may not be a great player, but you have made him a great person. I offer you my highest compliment. Hats off.
The NFL congratulates Billy Ray Holt, Troy Aikman's high school coach.
Now, if I could just get you to dress right. 1, 2.
I love it when they hate this way. I love it when the Cowboys and Niners play. Who gonna dance? Who gonna pray? I love it when they hate this way. I love it watching Steve Young pass. Cowboy deep kicking high. NFL on Fox Sunday. I love it when they hate this way. I love it. I love it. I love it when they hate this way. I love it.
Fox NFL Sunday pregame show live from San Francisco next week.
Dallas 9, Philadelphia nothing. This is Troy Aikman earlier as he was being taken to the locker room. And the word we just received is that he has a mild concussion. Perhaps. That's not definitive yet. He does have a strained neck. He is getting dressed in street clothes, so he won't be back in this contest. And we'll return to Veterans Stadium for the start of the second half after these messages from your local Fox station.
You're watching Fox NFL Sunday.
For all today's highlights and scores, watch Sports Sunday exclusively on the Fox 10 o'clock news.
You've got the time, the future's bright. Why not enjoy life? The dreams inside.
Head for the future in a new 98 DeVille with the North Star system. Because right now you can lease a quick, nimble DeVille for only $4.99 a month.
Now there's a reason, and it's so pleasant for making whoopee.
See your Cadillac Super Network dealers.
This isn't just a car. It's a sign of how far you've come. So if it gets damaged, who do you want on your side? At Nationwide Insurance, we guarantee that your car will be fixed just the way it should be. Because we wouldn't have it any other way.
Nationwide is on your side.
British Airways, the world's favorite airline.
Una bellissima opera.
E tu come hai fatto a vedere l'opera con questi occhi viaggianti, Mi sto guardando quella soprano.
La soprano.
La soprana?
Soprano? Quale soprano?
Un spettacolo. Sei stato tu, sei stato tu.
The Mazda Millennia, so accommodating, the steering wheel repositions itself for you as often as necessary.
Millennia by Mazda. Lease for $349.
There is Troy Aikman out of football uniform now, back with no shoulder pad. He has a mild concussion. Will not be back. They don't want to take a chance on him. This is how it all happened. This is where he got hit. And watch the hit to the head that came right there from Jimmy Jones. And this was after he made it over to the sideline. That's on the way to the locker room. Now he is back on the sideline, out of football uniform. Will not be back.
You know, in fact, he still looks a little woozy, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Because when Jimmy Jones hit him, it was a helmet-to-helmet collision, and his head really did snap back. I think it's more of the concussion than it is the neck. I think Michael Irvin, Pat, in watching him, I think he's still fired up over what Troy Vincent did to him on that play, because he had a chance to get a touchdown. I mean, he was going for a shot at the end zone. It was in that red zone area. He was going down there, and Troy Vincent was a lot more physical on him than he was on Troy Vincent. In fact, he just out-physicaled him right off the field.
That doesn't happen very often when he gets out physical.
No, and you know, I mean, his point is right too, that that's illegal. I mean, what Troy Vincent, you can touch him in the first 5 yards, and after that you can't make contact with him. You can't make contact when the ball is in the air.
That's still trying to make that point.
But but they've been letting, I mean, officials this year have let receivers and defensive backs get away with a lot more than they have in years past.
They call it snuggling.
Well, you know that, you know that's bad when they even have a word for it.
Bouncing to Deuce Staley. Kickoff, he left the ball. Staley down at about the 16-yard line. Again, the special teams for Dallas do their job, and the Eagles special teams have their problems.
Yeah, and the Eagles special teams have their problems in every area. It's not only covering, but it's returning, and it's punting, and it's kicking, and everything. You look at here, they've missed 2 field goals. Hutton's punting average is 17 yards, and he's had 1 block. They allowed a 47-yard kickoff return.
Eagles ball at their own 15. 2 tight ends, and Philadelphia sends Ricky Waters butting out to about the 21-yard line.
You know, Ricky Waters in the first half had 6 carries for 12 yards. So they have to stop Ricky Waters. That's what the Cowboys felt, and
that's what they've done.
They did it the first half, and conversely, the Eagles have to get Ricky Waters going, and they're just taking him out on second down. He doesn't like that.
Get him going on the bench.
But they do have to get something going offensively. I mean, they've tried him, and that hasn't worked.
2nd and 5. That's Fryer moving in motion to his left, and Rodney Peete back to throw it. Swings it outside to Kevin Turner. That was deflected.
Well, the fans are booing. I mean, what they want to see, in Rodney Peete or in the passing game here, if you're going to pass the ball, throw it down the field. You know, we try and run, we get stuffed in the run, and now if we're going to pass, let's get it to Irving Fryar. You know, let's get it out there and get it down or up the field or whatever that's called. You know, let's use Michael Timpson. Let's use Irving Fryar. Let's do those kind of things instead of throwing little loop passes to Kevin Turner.
In the event you might have just joined us, it's been raining steadily since the first of the game. Here comes the Dallas blitz. Offsides against Dallas, I'm sure. Kevin Turner, the intended receiver.
And the Cowboys have something going with that blitz, because in the first half, Rodney Peete against the blitz was just 1 out of 7.
Charlie Williams, I believe, was offside from the corner. Number 42.
Offsides. Number 42 of the defense. 5 yards. It will be just short of the first down. Repeat, third down.
You heard him, Jerry Austin, the referee, say, here's the offside violation.
Yeah, you see Charlie Williams is trying to time it up, and you want to come across there just as the ball is snapped, and he took a step just before the ball was snapped.
Third, about a half a yard.
But again, the Cowboys have had great success against their pass with their blitz package.
He sneaks for the first down. Rodney Peete replaced Ty Detmer as the starter a week ago. And his wife had twins last week. He went to California, came back, very little sleep. And Ray Rhodes said when he first got back it showed, but he shook it off in a day's time.
Yeah, he said he wasn't very sharp on Wednesday, but he came back on Thursday, was very sharp. In fact, he said in all their passing drills, not one ball hit the ground.
Waters outside the 30, stopped by Tony Tolbert.
I'll tell you this defensive line of the Cowboys is really stuffing up that middle. I mean, Tolbert there, Casillas, Antonio Anderson, and then Fred Strickland in the middle. They aren't really getting much in there all day. I mean, you know they've tried it. They've tried to hit that middle. There's Chad Hennings, who will be back there when that groin heals up, but Ricky Waters has tried to hit that middle, and there hasn't been anything there all day.
That's nothing. Here's Peete back to throw. Intended for Irving Fryar. Behind him again. Flag on the play.
Yep, and it's right back in the area where Rodney Peete was knocked down. Like you say, Pat, the
personal foul, roughing the passer, number 96 of the defense, 15 yards, automatic first down.
Antonio Anderson.
Antonio Anderson is the rookie defensive tackle we were talking about that's been stuffing up that middle. And you see that Rodney Peete throws the ball, and Antonio Anderson just comes and hits him. But he's going to be coming right there. He kind of hit him with his helmet, but it doesn't make any difference. It was the helmet or the crown or whatever. He hit him after he threw the ball.
Two tight ends set up for the Eagles. First down, Eagles. They're on 47. This is Waters again. Crosses across the insignia into Cowboy territory. Yesterday we spoke to Rodney Peete about the birth of those twins, Rodney Jackson and Ryan Elizabeth.
It was the most amazing experience I'd ever gone through. I think that anytime you become a father, it's a great time in your life. And for me, people would tell me what it's like, and say, be ready for this, be ready for that, and this is what it's going to be like. And you say, yeah, I understand that, but you never really actually feel it or know it until you actually go through it.
That's Ricky Waters bouncing his way again to the 45, stopped by Shante Carver.
I'm not an expert in that area, but congratulations to the mother and the father. But the thing that on that birth announcement that kind of surprised me was the short time between the deliveries. Watch, here's 9:28 was Rodney Jackson, and then Ryan Elizabeth was 9:30. That's only 2 minutes, as I figured out. And I always thought it was more like 20 minutes or a half hour between.
Well, like you said, you're not an expert.
No, I'm not a doctor.
In that area.
I've never been involved in any parts of that area. But
Peete
didn't seem like a very long time.
High and behind Irving Fryer.
Rodney Pete's been throwing behind, as we said, all day. It was something that sometimes a quarterback will do that and just get out of it. I think this one here was partly deflected. I mean, that was Fred Strickland. You see Fred Strickland got up there and jumped up and knocked that one off. But usually they make an adjustment as the game goes on. Rodney Pete hasn't made an adjustment as the game has gone on.
Hutton back to punt. High kick. Sanders going to let it bounce. Eagles knock it back to about the 5. And that's where it'll be down.
There is an Eagle special teams play, and the fans are cheering now.
Ray Farmer knocked it backwards.
Hopping out there.
Go farther. Completely reinvented 205 horsepower Isuzu Rodeo. Too far.
Oh!
Oh!
Yeah! Oh! Yeah!
Riley, you're one sick, sadistic puppy.
It's not TV. It's HBO. Moen's pull-out faucet. Few things in life can outmaneuver or outlast it. The One Touch by Moen. Buy it for looks. Buy it for life.
Do I hear 2,000 for a date with supermodel Jennifer? 2,000.
Is your dandruff sending the wrong signals?
Sold to number 10 for $2,000.
Get Selsun Power. Doctors recommend Selsun Blue #1. So don't send the wrong signals. Get Selsun Power.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Isuzu, builders of the completely reinvented 1998 Isuzu Rodeo. Isuzu, go farther. By Pizza Hut, enjoy today's game with the Edge Pizza, new from Pizza Hut. 16 pieces of pure toppings. Have you been to the Edge? And by HBO, it's not TV, it's HBO.
Dallas ball at their own 6. 11-10 left in the third quarter. Dallas leading 9-0. Miller was the man in motion. Emmitt Smith gets the carry. And Emmitt dragging tacklers out to about the 19.
Yeah, that looked
Zordich.
Now that looked like the old Emmitt Smith. Two things he did. One was a cutback. He started to the right, cut back to the left. And the other thing is, at the first contact, he kept his feet moving.
Dragging tacklers.
And you're just going to watch. He's going to start to the right here. See him start to the right and then bring it right back here. Now watch when that first tackler comes right there. He just keeps those feet moving and just runs right through it. And I think that if he keeps his feet moving, he can run more through more tackle.
Here's Emmitt Smith again. For about 3, stopped by William Thomas.
And you want to get in there behind big Eric Williams some too, because that's still the strength of this Cowboy offensive line is still Larry Allen and Eric Williams.
Emmitt Smith still down. Sherman Williams already has entered. Aikman is already gone and Emmitt is down.
Freedom on the field, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. With fares so low, you have the freedom to fly. The quarterback, confident leader of the offense. With supreme grace and dexterity, he guides his team down the field. With passes quick and sure, his receivers know that if they execute the play, the ball will be waiting for them. And if they do not, the quarterback will execute for them.
What do you get when you fly Southwest Airlines? Fun fares.
Well, you've waited so long for a fare to get so nice and low now. You really should fly now. You really should fly.
Light up the night. Southwest Airlines fun fares are so low. Want to see that again? Now you can fly just for the fun of it.
With us, 'cause we got a lot of things to do now. Now you really should fly. Fun, 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 flying Southwest on a fun fair today. Fun, fun, flying on a fun fair today.
The world is filled with obstacles, boundaries, and limits. Ignore them. Introducing the completely reinvented 205 horsepower Isuzu Rodeo.
Billy's taking the plunge.
Will you marry me?
And Taylor
Nobody messes with me twice.
is taking a fall on an all-new Melrose Place, Monday at 8, 7 Central on Fox.
Emmitt Smith standing over on the sideline. Let's see if we can figure out what happened.
I think if you just watch his head right in there, you just see that as it goes down, he gets snapped back. You see, he gets bent over. In fact, he's showing the trainers on the sideline exactly what it was. It wasn't a leg thing. It was just he got his head just bent forward.
So Sherman Williams is the running back now. Wade Wilson is the quarterback. Pass from Wilson intended for Anthony Miller, incomplete.
You know, it's going to be interesting how Wade Wilson's timing is with Anthony Miller, because for one reason or another, Troy Aikman has never gotten it down with him. And, you know, Troy Aikman's timing with Michael Irvin, you know, has been so good and so strong. And, you know, it's never been good with Anthony Miller. And you wonder how Wade Wilson's is going to be. As we see Emmitt Smith is back in the lineup.
Our word is that Emmitt has a bruised rib, but he's back in the game.
You can bend your head and hurt your rib.
Wilson. Flag on the play. Stepford Williams, I believe, was the intended receiver. Willie Clark was the defender.
And they're going to call it on Willie Clark, I think, because Willie Clark made one mistake there. He threw his hands out like he didn't do something.
Pass interference. Number 25 of the defense. Automatic first down.
Yeah,
Willie Clark.
Isn't that usually a sign of guilt? Watch Willie Clark here. He's number 25 on Stepford Williams. You see, and he's going to ride him there. And again, he had that hand in there. Now watch him put his hands up in the air like he didn't do anything. Well, it happened after that. But he goes by and says, right
me?
there.
Not me.
That sign there, when the hands are extended, palms out and up, it's a sign of guilt.
1st and 10. Cowboys have moved it out to their 26. That's Emmitt Smith. Flag on the play. In front of Emmitt.
I'll tell you, George Hageman got a good block on that one. He's the guy that got his guy and then put him down and really created a hole for Emmitt Smith.
Holding number 88 of the offense.
Holding call against Michael Irvin. You know, it's kind of ironic that both the offensive tackles for the Cowboys are from the Philadelphia area. Hageman's from Camden, New Jersey, just across the river. And Eric Williams is from South Philadelphia.
And watch what Michael Irvin is doing. You see, we talked about how physical everything is with he and Troy Vincent. Looks like they both had a hold of each other. In fact, at the end of that play, it was Troy Vincent who had a hold of Michael Irvin. But on a running play, you can do that. Remember, there is a difference that a defender can play off a wide receiver on a running play. It's on the pass play. They can't hit him after 5 yards or when the ball's in the air.
1st and about 14 yards. Wade Wilson to Herschel Walker. Walker gets to the 30. James Willis made the stop. Philadelphia, one of the teams that Herschel Walker's played for.
And he was disappointed when he was let go. In fact, when the Eagles brought in Ricky Waters and they brought in Kevin Turner, Ray Rhodes was saying we had no cap room. Herschel Walker thought that they really just kind of brushed him off and let him go and didn't appreciate everything that he had done while he was here in Philadelphia.
He didn't care for the way it was handled. Nicky Suolua is the running back, the blocking back, and Emmett Smith is the running back. Emmett close to midfield. That should put him about 100 yards. Brian Dawkins made the stop.
And again, Suolua gets in and out of the hole on this one. See, you're going to start off here. Here's Emmitt Smith. He's going to run to the right here. Suolua makes the thing now, and now he can just cut off that. See, because the first time we saw Suolua, he waited a while before he got into the hole. But here's Larry Allen taking his guy. Eric Williams taking his guy. Suolua getting his guy.
Yep.
But the guy that really got his guy was Larry Allen. He got his guy to the ground.
Emmett at the line of scrimmage this time. Hageman involved in a little shoving match with William Thomas.
Hageman's playing pretty well. They were worried about Hageman today, and that's why they were moving Larry Allen over there on third down. But Hageman's not playing poorly over there.
We were at the Cowboys hotel last night meeting with some of the players, and I ran into George Hageman in the hall, and there's no room to go by on either side.
What'd you do, slither?
I went the other way. I'm not good at slithering. Wilson goes down. William Thomas led the charge. Hollis Thomas also on the scene.
You know, everyone is talking about, you know, they want Sherman Williams, they want this and that, but you have to remember, when you put a back in there, that back not only has to be able to run the ball, but he has to be able to pass protect. Because if you get a running back in there that can't pass protect, you're going to keep him in, and you can formulate a blitz that makes him stay in there, and he has to block. Now, Sherman Williams on that play was not very, very good.
He could have been called for holding very easily.
He could have been called for anything, and he's probably being called everything on the sideline.
3rd and 18. 3 wide receivers. Wade Wilson calls a timeout. That's Dallas' first one they've taken, so they have 2 left. Wade Wilson's done a good job. He seems very composed.
It was just one of those nights. It was just one of those fabulous flights.
When you're searching for something better, when you're looking for a change, every once in a while, you come across a Gossamer Bay.
Just one of those things.
Capture something better.
Hey, NFL fans, do us a favor, please. Put something on. Like officially licensed NFL merchandise at Goodyear. Right now, get some of Goodyear's best selected tires like Aqua Treads, Eagles, and Wranglers. And get $50 or $75 good towards officially licensed NFL merchandise at participating Goodyear retailers. Call 1-800-GOODYEAR for the retailer nearest you. Great Goodyear treads, incredible NFL threads. Oh, nice fashion statement, fella.
Ace or 3/4?
10 millimeter.
My favorite.
The all-new Mazda truck. Pure truck.
Fox presents the biggest love story of our time. An all-new Ally McBeal, Monday after Melrose Place.
Troy Aikman with a baseball cap under the hood. Over on the sideline, slight concussion. They don't want to take a chance on him coming back. He's in street clothes. And Wade Wilson, in the meantime, has the job. 3 wide receivers, 3rd and long. Wilson, incomplete. Through the arms.
Boy, running backs have dropped more passes today, haven't they? I mean, you know, we know Herschel Walker did that, and now we see Emmitt Smith did that, and Sherman Williams did that. Kevin Turner did that. Ricky Waters did that. I don't know if it's that those gloves get wet because it's been raining, and they're supposed to be tackified gloves, and if they get wet and the ball just slides through or what, but the running backs have had a tough time catching the football today.
Mark Say back to receive the punt. Say gets away from one man, away from another. Mark Say's got some room. At midfield almost. Mark Say. The Eagles special teams have finally contributed.
And Mark Say made the first move because Billy Davis was down there right on him, and Mark Say made Billy Davis miss.
9-0 Dallas.
Or 3/4.
10 millimeter.
My favorite.
The all-new Mazda truck. Pure truck.
This dish is gonna change my life.
I like you better already. Turn it on, turn it on.
And now I give you
Game time.
Heidi. They said it was on satellite TV.
It's on DirecTV. DirecTV?
You don't have DirecTV. You got Heidi.
Only DirecTV delivers more sports than any other mini-dish system. If you don't have it, you're gonna get it.
Well, if you squint, she kind of looks like John Elway.
DirecTV. Satellite TV at its best.
Shuffling papers all day long requires concentration. Someone hold my calls, I'm on a Big Mac vacation.
Did somebody say McDonald's?
If it were a guy's world, this would be your 9 to 5. And you'd always be cool. But in the real world, guys sweat 40% more than women. Guys need the protection of Speed Stick antiperspirant. Speed Stick, protection just for the guys.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Mazda. Come see what happens when a car company has more engineers and fewer accountants. Mazda.
Are you frightened? 9-0.
Watch this. Here's Billy Davis. This is a heck of a play. I mean, he beats a double team, gets down there, and now Mark Say just dips that shoulder underneath him, and by making Billy Davis miss, he came up with about 50 more yards.
And it's 1st and 10 Eagles. And the handoff is to Charlie Garner. And Garner, he can make things happen, and finally Brock Marion takes him out of bounds all the way down at the Cowboy 27-yard line.
Yeah, that's the change of pace that they're talking about, and that's what Charlie Garner is. Ricky Waters is their running back. Charlie Garner is their change of pace, and anytime Ray Rhodes wants to change that pace, he puts Charlie Garner in there, and then after every game he'll say that he should have done it more and more, because most of the time when he does it, it works.
25 yards worth that time. This is Ricky Waters. Waters to the 20, to the 18. Stoutmeyer made the stop.
Ricky says he wants some of that adulation that Charlie Gardner's getting. He's giving me some of that too. So sometimes one guy will motivate another guy. I mean, they're going, and Ricky Waters isn't getting much going. First half, he had 6 carries for 12 yards, and Charlie Gardner gives him a little change of pace, and then they can open up some holes here.
2nd and 2. Rodney Peete changing the play and changing the backs, and Peete to Michael Timpson close to the 12-yard line, and an Eagle first down. Kevin Smith made the stop.
Yeah, and this was an audible here. We see Timpson is just going to come up, and he's just going to run it out here. So he's just going to stop, then slide to the outside. He knew where the first down marker was, and Rodney Peete saw the corners of the Cowboys playing off and audibleized to that play.
Waters is deep. Waters gets the handoff. Not much. That run by Charlie Garner, 25 yards, was the longest run allowed by the Cowboys this year.
You know, Rodney Peete was saying yesterday how important Charlie Garner is, and how sometimes when the coaches forget about it, he'll remind them. You know, he said, give me a little Charlie Gardner. Let's go a little Charlie Gardner. Because sometimes you do. I mean, you get stuck in a game, and if the guy's out of sight, you just forget about him.
Garner is the lone setback. Peete again.
This is another audible.
Yep. Behind Irving Fryer. He made that remarkable catch in the first quarter.
And again, this is an adjustment that we talked about earlier that Rodney Peete hasn't made this whole game. He's been throwing behind his receivers all day, and he throws another one behind Irving Fryer.
That was an audible.
Yeah, he said last week he called 15 audibles or 15 checks, and usually it's only 3 or 4, but with all the blitzing today, the quarterback has to audibilize a lot more.
2 tight ends. Peete. This time the pass is dropped by Timpson. And a flag on the play.
And that's going to be against the Eagles, Pat. That's a holding penalty against the Eagles. It'll be interesting what the Cowboys do with it. I think they would turn down. Yeah. Barry Switzer is saying
turn it down.
76 of the offense. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
That's Barrett Brooks because it's an incomplete pass, I think. And it is 3rd down. You see, but even though there is a penalty, this is another pass that is behind the receiver. You see, Timpson has to stop and then kind of come back. So
he didn't quite get stopped.
Rodney Peete, whatever it is, sure doesn't have his timing down and hasn't gotten it during this game.
Bonio from 29 yards. This time he's missed twice from close to 50. This one's good. And the Eagles finally get on the scoreboard. Bonio applauds his efforts. 9-3.
At BASF, we don't make the mattress, we make it softer. We don't make the boots, we make them drier. We don't make the house, we make it livelier. We don't make the snowboard, we make it stronger. At BASF, we don't make a lot of the products you buy, we make a lot of the products you buy better. BASF.
Ship your package in 2 days with FedEx. And you'll run into 7 different price zones.
Ship your package in 2 days with UPS. And you'll run into 7 different price zones.
Ship your package in 2 to 3 days with Priority Mail. And there's just 1 price zone.
So, what's your priority? Priority Mail from the U.S. Postal Service.
Enterprise Rent-A-Car, because our car is sick.
Enterprise will arrange to pick you up.
Wow!
Drive you to our place and get you on your way.
Everybody loves to be picked up.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Mr. Dave Thomas?
May I approach the bench, Your Honor? According to our records, you haven't tried our new pitas.
I guess I'm guilty. Come try Wendy's delicious fresh stuffed pitas today. These are great.
You know Charlie Small.
I do. He should be back in 2 to 3.
Nicholson, Pfeiffer. When the full moon rises, the beast will hunt.
Don't look so scared.
Wolf, Tuesday at 8, 7 Central on Fox.
Tonight, Fox kicks off a week of Halloween screams with the Simpsons Scare-a-thon, a brand new Halloween special, plus 2 classic episodes. Then Hank makes a deal with the devil on a brand new King of the Hill. It all starts tonight at 7, 6 Central on Fox. Bonio set to kick off. Walker and Marion back deep for the Cowboys. Herschel Walker to the 30, just outside.
Yeah, that's one thing. The Cowboys aren't as good as they were when they were a real good team, but the thing that they're having a problem with this year is putting anyone away. And, you know, you go back to that red zone and then settling for field goals, and then they leave an opponent in the game, and then at the end of the game, that opponent, even though they're not as good as the Cowboys are, can come back and steal or win a game from them.
1st and 10, Nicky Sualua. The deep back in front of Emmitt Smith, and he's tackled behind the line of scrimmage by Rhett Hall. And right now for a McDonald's game break, let's return to James Brown at the Fox Television Center in Hollywood.
Pat, Gary Anderson booting his 14th consecutive field goal this season. That makes it 16-0. New Orleans threatening to be shut out for the 2nd consecutive game. Of course, next week it'll be Dallas at San Francisco. Back to Pat and John.
And next week, Pat and John will be in San Francisco.
Yeah, in fact, John will be leaving for San Francisco right after this game. I don't know if I can get through on 80, though, with that snowstorm in Colorado I saw last night.
The Broncos had trouble getting out. Wilson's pass out to Emmitt Smith. And Emmitt gets very little.
If there's one play that hasn't worked all day, in fact, I think by now I would stop using it, it's a back on the flat or a loop. I mean, both teams have tried it. The Cowboys have tried it to Emmitt Smith. They've tried it to Herschel Walker. And it doesn't work.
Both teams have had trouble just catching it.
Yeah, and then if they do catch it, there's about 8 guys waiting for them when they catch it. So I think they either ought to run the ball or throw the ball down the field. But that little loop to the back is not one of the things that works.
Larry Allen over at left tackle again.
Against Richard Dent this time.
Stepford Williams makes the reception, not nearly enough for a first down.
You see,
Richard Dent disappeared.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, he had a little help from Bjornsson right here. Here's Larry Allen, and here's Richard Dent. But watch Bjornsson. He's going to wait right there. Doink. He's the guy that redirects him. Larry Allen, I don't know that needs any help, but the Cowboys have been putting him at left tackle on passing downs and also giving him some help.
Mark Say back deep for the Eagles. He'll be going to kick it. Off the side of his foot, not very good kick. Midfield, and the Cowboys down it right there. A flag on the play. Flag on the play.
There's another flag. There's 2 hats and 2 flags. We got all kinds of stuff.
And
all
it's
kinds
raining.
of stuff. Yeah.
It's raining.
Well, you know, anytime you see the hat, that means someone went out of bounds. It'll be against the Cowboys.
You go out of bounds, you can't be the first one to touch the ball. 17 yards is the net on the punt.
Number 42 was the first to go out of bounds and come back in and touch the ball. That's illegal touching. That penalty is declined. First down, Philadelphia.
See, what happens is when a guy goes out of bounds, then he can't come in. Now, he's out of bounds right now. Now, it's all right for him to come back in, but he can't come back in and be the first guy to touch the ball. See, he's okay until right there. When he touched the ball, that's the illegality.
He can make a tackle, but he can't touch the ball.
Or he can be the second guy or the third guy or the 5th guy or the 13th guy to touch the ball, but he can't be the first guy to touch the ball after he's been out of bounds.
Rodney Peete gets to Ricky Waters, and Waters stays on his feet. Down inside the 40 to about the Cowboy 37. Broderick Thomas took him out of bounds.
That's what we were talking about earlier. Running back has to keep his feet moving. No matter what happens, you just keep your feet moving, and then you can take that step and go to the outside. Ricky Waters is right here. He's going to start to the left. He's going to start in that off tackle hole. Right there, there's nothing there, but he keeps his feet moving, and then he gets a bounce out because there was no force on that outside.
1st and 10, Philadelphia. Peete gets to Waters, and Waters straight ahead, stays on his feet inside the 30, the 29.
They finally got something in there. You know, they've been running that inside. They've been running inside, and finally they got in behind Ian Beckles. Watch him. He's all excited. Here's Ian Beckles right here. He's the right guard. Now watch how. Watch, he gets a block there, turns his guy Casillas and knocks him down, and that's the block that finally opened up a hole in the middle for the Eagles.
8-yard gain, 2nd and 2. Waters has the first down makes his way down to the 21-yard line.
Look at Ian Beckles there. He's going crazy. You don't see guards go like that. You know, it's usually the running backs that do it, but now we got a guard. He's getting excited. Number 62 there. He's jumping all over the place after those blocks.
And that's the end of the third quarter with the score. Dallas 9, Eagles 3, and Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages and a word from your local Fox station.
November's biggest event, the X-Files season premiere next Sunday on Fox.
For all today's highlights and scores, watch Sports Sunday exclusively on the Fox 10 o'clock news.
With Plymouth, this is what you pay for, and this is what you get. Take, for example, Plymouth Neon. You get all this. And now these special savings. Get $1,500 cash back or 1.9% APR, so you can save over $2,700 in finance charges. One more time. This is what you pay for, and this is what you get.
For the official cars of the Philadelphia Eagles, see your local Chrysler and Plymouth dealers.
In the world of tools, there's only one true craftsman. Craftsman makes anything possible.
Yeah. Jeep Cherokee has always been the perfect getaway vehicle. But now, look what you can get away with. A zero-down, $279 a month Jeep Cherokee lease with only $774 due at signing for 190 horses and automatic transmission. Plus now these extras, including air conditioning at no extra charge. The $279 a month Jeep Cherokee lease. A great deal to get away with when you really want to get away from it all. Check one out at your Jeep dealer.
9-3, the Cowboys leading. Wade Wilson has played since Troy Aikman went out with what's been called a mild concussion and a neck strain. Here's Ricky Waters. Waters inside the 20 to about the 18.
You know, it's funny, in this third quarter, the Eagles finally got their running game going. They've had over 85 yards now just in that third quarter. Ricky Waters ran 9 times for 56 yards. Garner 1 for 25, and Pete 1 for 3. So something that they didn't have going, especially that run in the middle. Yep. They finally have an opening there, and they're starting to take command in that area. 2nd and 6.
Waters again. Hit behind the line of scrimmage by Antonio Anderson, who dragged him down finally.
That was Ricky Waters' fault. He has to get to the line of scrimmage quicker than that. He was taking it easy getting to the line of scrimmage. And you see, he just let that happen. See, he's waiting back there for something to happen. And if you wait for something to happen, the thing that's going to happen is Antonio Anderson's going to get penetration.
Going to happen to you.
Yeah. I mean, you have to get in and get out of there. You can't spend a lot of time in your own backfield.
Waters is out. Garner's in. Rodney Peete taken down as he tried to step up in the pocket. It's Broderick Thomas. And the Eagles put their field goal unit on the field.
You know, sometimes Rodney Peete is lucky that he doesn't fumble these things, because watch where he carries the ball as he steps up. You see how it's down there? That ball is down there ready to be knocked out.
Yep.
Broderick Thomas got the sack, but I think he was going for the football.
Bonio with Hutton holding. And every one of the snaps has been sort of high. That one's high. Flag on the play. Bonio's kick is good. 37 yards out with a flag on the play. You take those points off the board?
No, I would never take them off, because it's not enough for a first down. It would still leave you about 4th and 3 if it's a 5-yard penalty.
Offsides, number 56 of the defense. Penalty is declined. Field goal is good.
They agree with you.
Yeah, you have to do that.
So that makes it 9-6. The Dallas lead is 3.
You haven't found one like it before. Because we've never built one like it before. Introducing a new kind of LS400. You've never felt so connected to a car.
There's the snap. Williams, wide open. Oh, he blew it. Here come the team doctors.
Are you hurt? Yeah, I'm hurt. When people boo, it hurts my feelings.
Gonna be a while?
Grab a Snickers.
Post-incompletion stress disorder.
Next Friday,
I know what I did and did not do.
the nightmare is real.
What are you gonna do? You gonna shoot me twice?
Richard Gere. Red Corner, rated R. October 31st everywhere.
Beau pantalon.
Beau pantalon.
Hey, she says nice pants.
There's a million for you.
Dockers. Khakis.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Lexus and the new LS400. When was the last time you felt so connected to a car? By Miller Lite, now official beer sponsor of the NFL. And by Visa, the official card of the NFL. It's everywhere you want to be.
Back at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, 9-6. The Eagles set to kick it off. Walker and Brock Marion back deep for Dallas. High, short kick. It'll be handled by Walker. Herschel Walker. Midfield and more. Herschel Walker to the 34-yard line of Philadelphia. Michael Zordich finally knocked him out of bounds.
And that was the thing Ray Rhodes talked about yesterday. Yep. He said it's not so much their offense or so much their defense. The thing that worries them most is their special teams. He talked about Herschel Walker on the kickoff return and Deion Sanders on the punt return.
And Herschel just hurt him.
Well, he said he was going to try an angle kick. You know, in other words, kick the ball off and get it outside the hash marks. This ball was not only not outside the hash marks and straight down the middle, but short. And that is a very returnable ball. A short kick that is straight down the middle.
49-yard return by Walker. Here's Wade Wilson back to throw. Gets it up the middle to Anthony Miller. Miller down at the 21-yard line of Philadelphia.
It's one thing the Cowboys are doing now is moving their pocket. In fact, they even moved their guard. Big Nate Newton pulled out on that play. And it was the type of thing where the quarterback is going to come out. You're going to see the quarterback come out to the right, but you also see the guard come out with them to help block. You see Nate Newton come out there, a little block, so you're moving your pocket from the middle to one of the sides.
The handoff is to Emmitt Smith, and Smith inside the 10 to about the 8. Emmitt running like the Emmitt of old.
Yeah, Nate Newton blocking like the Nate Newton of old, Pat, on that one. Getting a real push. You watch this push right here. This is what creates it. This is what starts it. Watch the left guard, Nate Newton. You see that push that they get there? Hageman gets a good push, too. Hageman collapses his guy to the inside. Big Nate collapses his guy to the inside, and that collapse makes a big hole for Emmitt Smith.
First and goal at the 8. Emmitt hit behind the line of scrimmage by Red Hall. He might have lost a yard.
Yeah, Red Hall's been the MVP of this. Well, maybe Troy Vincent, too. Troy Vincent in the secondary, but Red Hall in that front line of a guy that has been rushing the passer and getting penetration on the defense. He's made some big plays today for this Philadelphia Eagle defense.
Emmitt Smith limps off, and Sherman Williams replaced him. Smith has 20 carries, 112 yards. Sherman Williams now, this is a passing down, and he's got to do some blocking. Flag on the play. Brian Dawkins hammered the Cowboy receiver.
Dawkins is saying that the receiver ran into him. Again, there can't be contact when the ball's in the air. What the officials will have to talk about there is who initiated the contact. The three officials are talking. The other officials are trying to keep the players away.
Trying to keep Michael Irvin out of the conversation.
Yeah. Now Big Nate's coming and going to have a little discussion.
A little bigger mound to get around. It's against the Eagles.
Pass interference. Number 20 of the defense. Automatic first down.
Brian Dawkins, that makes it 1st and goal.
You're going to see Brian Dawkins is right there. And again, he has a collision with Eric Bjornsson when the ball's in the air. Dawkins is saying that Bjornsson ran into him. It looked like to me that he ran into Bjornsson.
1st and goal at the 4. I think that was a good call. Flag on this play. Emmitt Smith, the ball carrier, is only out for 1 play.
Well, there weren't many white jerseys blocking many green jerseys on that play.
No. There might have been one holding.
There was. They caught him.
Holding. Number 50 of the offense. 10 yards.
Clay Shiver.
First down.
The offensive center.
Yeah, because a couple plays ago, here's Clay Shiver right there, number 50. And he goes and has his guy right there. Again, I think it's Rhett Hall trying to get by him. It was Rhett Hall. And he hasn't been doing a very good job blocking Rhett Hall all day.
1st and goal on the 14. Wade Wilson, the quarterback. Wilson gives to Emmitt. And Emmitt Smith hurries down to about the 6.
Yeah, that was a pretty good move there. This is the one where they put Larry Allen over here at the left tackle. You see, here's Nate Newton right here, and they just run right behind him. And they pick it off, and they just get good drive on that play and get everything going backwards. In fact, that was George Hegeman who got that block.
2nd goal at the 6. Wade Wilson takes the 2nd Dallas timeout of this half, so they only have 1 left. Hegeman, a good job. He is a big fellow. 6'7", 330 plus.
They came to our planet. They destroyed our cities. But on November 7th, they'll learn they messed with the wrong species. Starship Troopers, rated R. Opens everywhere November 7th.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
I'm the road to Canterbury. Hello, dear. Thank you. Of course, you Americans hate the rain. Oh, it's too wet and scary. Mommy won't let me come out and play.
The road is calling, and the 1998 ES300 with front-wheel drive and available traction control will help you answer it.
Not bad, but you're on the wrong side of the road.
Halloween screams with a brand new episode plus 2 classic tales.
Down in front.
It's The Simpsons Scare-a-thon tonight at 7, 6 Central.
In the rain at Philadelphia's Veterans Stadium, the Cowboys have it 2nd and goal at the 6. Wade Wilson, the quarterback. They have 1 timeout left in this half. The Cowboys do. Michael Irvin jogging back in motion. Here is Wilson. Penalty and flags come flying. Pass was incomplete.
Now that ball was thrown a little low to Michael Irvin. That was going to be to him all the way.
Yeah.
He was outside. He started in motion.
Called against him.
Look at Troy Vincent in there. The two of them have been going at it all day.
Offensive pass interference, number 88, 10 yards. Repeat, second down.
10 yards. That moves them back. Where it's still second and goal after the penalty.
Michael Irvin, he pushed off right there. Just before he made the outcut, he pushed off on Troy Vincent. You know, it used to be that you would bring your shoulder into him and then kind of push off with your shoulder. That time, Michael Irvin just took his left arm and pushed Troy Vincent off, pushed it off with his left arm before he cut to the right.
And the pass was incomplete. Second and goal at the 16.
Troy Vincent has been on him all day today, but I don't think that he had to do that to get that open.
Walker and Smith behind Wilson. Here comes the blitz. And Wilson is down.
Red Hall again. They didn't block Red Hall. He came straight up the middle. That'll be his second sack. Well, in fact, he had 1.5. That's his second and a half sack.
He's had a heck of a day.
I know. He's been all over. He's been the guy who's getting the penetration, and you're going to see him right here. He just goes by Nate Newton. He just takes Nate's inside shoulder and just drives right through it. Watch, here's Nate Newton here. He's going to take the inside shoulder right there. Red Hall is. He didn't have any help on that inside. Nate knew it. Nate's putting his foot in the ground, but Red Hall just whipped him to the inside.
So it's third and goal at the 24. Blitz coming again. They get the ball to Emmitt Smith, and Emmitt's taken down at the line of scrimmage. Red Hall again made the stop.
Now you wonder where that call came from. I know that they had to. On the second down, they got sacked, but you would think that they would take a shot at the end zone on third down, and that was kind of a strange play in that situation. I don't know that maybe the football's not wet. I mean, it's weather, and they don't have a lot of confidence in throwing it. But
well, it's been raining throughout the game.
But you would still think that, in that situation, before you kick the field goal, you take a shot at the end zone.
From 43 yards out, Cunningham will try again. And he is good again. And that makes it 12-6. Dallas on top by 2 field goals.
Dave Thomas is on the coast asking everyone about Wendy's new fresh stuffed pitas.
Your pitas are dreamy, Dave.
I thought you liked them. Wendy's fresh stuffed pitas, the only way to describe them is
fabulous.
In this great world, I go just where I please.
Right now, all Goodyear tires are on sale at Sears, like Eagles and Wranglers.
And I say, roll like a wheel, it's time to roll.
All Goodyear tires on sale through November 5th.
Reaching your financial goals can be a complex balancing act. At the Principal Financial Group, you will find the strength of our investment performance is your 401k retirement advantage. You'll find our flexibility will meet your insurance needs, and you'll find the balance of choice and quality you need in health coverage. For over 100 years, the Principal has made the complex simple. That's how we give you an edge. The Principal.
Dallas 12, Philadelphia 6. No touchdowns. The intense face of Bill Bates. He's been doing this for a long, long time. 15 years of covering kicks. Deuce Staley retreats to the back of the end zone and downs it there, and the Eagles will take over at their own 20 with 8:49 left. Next week it's a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader. All starts with America's most watched pregame show, and they'll be live from San Francisco for the big game between the Cowboys and the 49ers. We'll be there too, plus other regional action. Coverage begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, right here on Fox. Check your local listings for the game and game in your area. Just looking at that, Charlie Garner in the Eagle backfield, and he gets the carry, and Garner's got some room. Charlie Garner, 9 yards, stopped by Brock Marion. Now, for McDonald's game break, let's return to James Brown at the Fox Television Center in Hollywood.
Hey, Pat, San Francisco still continuing doing the job to New Orleans. Young to J.J. Stokes. Saints have never been shut out 2 games in a row. May happen. Pat, Howie says he'll see you next week.
We look forward to seeing you next week. Garner straight ahead, first down, Philadelphia.
You know, and seeing those 49ers, you know, after they lost Jerry Rice, I think that Steve Young decided that he's going to have to throw the ball to Terrell Owens. He's going to have to throw the ball to J.J. Stokes, and those guys realize they're going to have to get open and step up and be the guy, and they're doing it.
And you can almost see them getting better each week.
I'll tell you, they are better, but they are big targets.
This is Garner. Charlie Garner to the 40. Brock Marion again had to make the tackle on Charlie Garner.
You know, the thing is, it seems like the Cowboys have been doing things. They've been, you know, returning kicks, and they've been moving the ball down the field, but all the Eagles have to do is score a touchdown and kick an extra point, and they're ahead in this game.
2nd and 3. Inside handoff to Kevin Turner. They said they had to get the ball in his hands occasionally, and they did. Fred Strickland made the stop. This game is presented by authority. The National Football League is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Philadelphia Eagles and the NFL is prohibited. First down, Philadelphia at their own 46. Nothing doing this time as Charlie Garner is taken down by Dexter Coakley.
This defense really plays hard, and you know, we were talking about the job that Dave Campo's done, and you know, and blitzing more and playing a lot of young guys. In fact, when they play a nickel defense, they can have as many as 5 rookies on the field at one time.
You're not supposed to be able to do that, but they have had that situation. There's Rodney Peete. He gets it to Irving Fryer. That was not his fault. That was Fryer.
Yeah, and that was kind of a little different ball handling. You know, the Eagles thought that on Deion Sanders you can run slants and crosses, and they weren't going to stay away from him. They're just going to stay away from him on some kind of pattern. But watch what Rodney Peete does. He does a complete circle.
A pirouette.
Yeah, he does a pirouette before he throws that, and then whaps it in there.
That's a good throw.
And as you say, that was Irving Fryer's fault. He dropped that ball because he had Deion Sanders beaten on that slant.
3 wide receiver set up. Peete. Incomplete. Intended for Michael Timpson, who slipped down, and the Eagles are going to have to punt.
Yeah, we talked to the officials before the game, and they have 36 footballs for this game, 18 for the first half and 18 for the second half, and the big thing is to keep the football dry. But I'll tell you, the quarterbacks look like they're having a little trouble throwing it, and the receivers are having a little trouble catching it.
More than a little.
A lot of trouble.
Deion Sanders back deep. Hutton to punt it. Deion retreats to the 10. Lets the ball bounce. And it rolls into the end zone. The Cowboys will start from their own 20 with 1 timeout and 5:56 left. Leading by 6.
Lessons you've learned. That most men don't do laundry. Because washing machines don't come with a remote control. And the only time your boss returns your phone calls is when you're not there. And happiness isn't how much you have, but your ability to enjoy what you've got.
If I had my way,
there would be no punting on 4th down. No throwaway passes. I would never be told to slide or step out of bounds. Safeties would learn to fear my footsteps. And history books would not refer to me as a quarterback, but as a football player.
How bad is it?
We're dead.
How dead?
Dead. Check out the flame mail.
How many hits so far?
Millions, billions, who knows?
We should have upgraded the server.
Can't. It's not scalable.
What now?
Lock the door.
Tonight, has Hank Hill made a pact with the devil?
It just tears my heart out.
A screaming new King of the Hill tonight at 8:30, 7:30 Central.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Pizza Hut. Enjoy today's game with the Edge Pizza, new from Pizza Hut. 16 pieces of pure toppings. Have you been to the Edge?
Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia has been raining since the game began. A steady rain. 12-6, Dallas leading the Eagles. Emmitt Smith tripped up after he picked up a couple by Hollis Thomas.
Yeah, we were talking about these footballs and if they really are keeping them dry. I mean, the passing game doesn't look like it because in the second half, the net passing for the Cowboys has been 9 yards. The net passing for the Eagles has been 4. Rodney Pete's been 1 out of 7. And I don't know that it is the ball. I'm not making excuses for him, but that's the worst kind of ball to throw is a wet ball.
They had a lot of passes dropped. Here comes the blitz. Emmitt Smith gets the carry and is tripped up behind the line of scrimmage. Lost maybe a yard. Darian Connor made the hit that brought him down. Clock is running, however.
Yeah, this Eagle defense has done an outstanding job also. I mean, the special teams have hurt them, but they've really been stuffing the run for the most part, although Emmitt Smith has over 100 yards, and they've been pass rushing, and Troy Vincent has been outstanding today against Michael Irvin.
3rd and 8. They're 3 out of 12 on 3rd down conversions. Irvin goes in motion. Wilson to pitch back to Emmitt Smith. He'll get some yards, but not quite a first.
Now they were going to run at Richard Dent. Richard Dent was in there as a pass rushing specialist, and he was going against Larry Allen. And Richard Dent just takes off up the field. You watch him here. He's going to take off up the field. They get him inside and just pitch the ball outside. Nate Newton pulls around to try and lead to get a first down. That's the second time the Cowboys have had that ball on 3rd down and gone to the run.
Mark Say back deep for the Eagles. They'll get the ball back with 4.5 minutes left. The flag on the play. They might have taken too much time. That'll stop the clock at 4:30.
False start.
I think the Cowboys moved.
Yeah. 5 yards. It's still 4th down.
Yeah, it was the right side. It was either the right guard or the right tackle. Started moving like he was going into pass protection. And then we talk about the Cowboys having good special teams. They have very good coverage teams.
They really do. They back up 5.
This is where Billy Davis is usually one of the first guys down there and making a tackle.
Better kick by Golan. Out of bounds. Next week will be in San Francisco. There's a flag on this play. Back at the original line of scrimmage. Going to be holding against the Eagles.
Holding number 22 of the receiving team. 10 yards. First down, Philadelphia.
That's a tough one. A critical one.
That is a tough one because that one had to be during the play or in post-possession, so it's the same type of thing. When did it happen? It happened after the kick. That's just a
Deuce
wrestling
Staley,
match.
yeah. And Billy Davis.
Well, I said Billy Davis was going to be the first guy down there, and Deuce Staley wasn't going to let him be the first guy
That
down
was
there.
another one of those post-possession fouls, so it'll be the Eagles' ball.
Yeah, right. The penalty was after the ball was kicked.
Right.
They weren't going to let Billy Davis get there, but Billy Davis was on the other side anyway.
Garner in the backfield. Here's the rush. It's screen pass to Garner, and he is upended and stayed on his feet somehow until he's taken down finally.
Yeah, Randall Godfrey played that well, though, for the Cowboys. That's the thing on the screen. You have to get right out there and watch Randall Godfrey. He's number 56. He's going to see it. He's going to feel it. He's sliding right down the line. Then he gets here. Now watch him get the penetration right there. He made Charlie Gardner stop so that a bunch of his friends could get over there and make the tackle. But that play was made by Randall Godfrey.
Antonio Anderson has led the pursuit. Here's Pete. He gets the ball outside to Kevin Turner. Turner still on his feet. Turner into Dallas territory, out of bounds at about the 42. Randall Godfrey knocked him out of bounds.
Well, Ray Rhodes was saying that they like to get the ball to Kevin Turner early, and that was the first time they've gotten it to him today. That's Kevin Turner's first catch. Watch him. He comes out there, and they just throw that ball out there, and he gets the thing out flank, and then he makes Kevin Smith miss on a tackle, and then just goes right up the sideline.
First down, Eagles at the Dallas 42. Cowboys leading 12-6. Pete to Ricky Waters. No gain. What was Deion Sanders excited about something?
It looked like he thought there was a penalty, unless he was just excited about coming in there and stopping him for no gain. You know, that's one thing that everyone thinks they can do against the Cowboys, is they don't think that Deion is a good tackler. Now, he doesn't enjoy tackling as much as the other part, but he is a good tackler, and everyone tries to get him up in force and run at him.
He's just not a very aggressive tackler, but he is very sure. Here's Rodney Pete to Fryer, and Fryer can't find the handle.
And that's the second one in a row that Irving Fryer has dropped.
That makes you think that the ball has to be very slippery.
Or the gloves or something because, you know, he made, remember earlier in the game, he made such a great one-handed catch, and then he's dropped two perfect passes right into his hands.
Those right there, 3rd and 11.
And the Eagles are in a position now that they have to think it's 3rd and 11, but they have to think in terms of 2 downs. They don't have to get this all on 1 down, because they will have to go for it on 4th down because they need a touchdown.
They send Fryer in motion again. Pete has good protection, and the pass is incomplete. Thrown up the middle to Irving Fryer, who had it in the basket and lost it.
You see, Brock Marion tried to help Irving Fryer up, and Irving Fryer would have no part of that. But the ball's thrown in there. Brock Marion is right there. I think that one's dropped also.
Yes, it is.
Irving Fryer has really dropped 3 in a row. Watch Brock Marion. He's going to go to help him up, and Irving Fryer says no thank you.
He wants none of that.
He wasn't. This is a big down. This is a game right here.
Right here. 2:45 left. Pete retreats. And the pass is caught. That's close to a first down. It depends on where they spot it.
Oh, you're exactly right. Where they spot it. Where that guy put his right foot. He hasn't put it down yet. It's official, the second official there, where he's going to put that foot. Oh, is this close?
It's a big, big call.
Because if it's not a first down, it's a Cowboys ball.
Well.
Oh, and then do they put it at the toe or the heel? Do they put it at the front of the foot or the middle of the foot or the back of the foot?
Is that left foot? There's something about that left foot that I remember.
Yeah, it was a right foot.
Right foot?
That was a right foot job that he got there.
Well, we'll see. The life of a coach.
First down. Oh, you talk about a game of inches and a spot. I mean, how does that guy come in there and just put his foot down? If he puts his left foot down, that wouldn't have been a first down. He did give him the right foot job on that one, and a first down for the Eagles.
Today's game is being produced by Bob Stenner, directed by Sandy Grossman. The associate director is Mike Roy. Broadcast associates are Fran Morrison and Charles McDonald. Technical producer Bob Mueller. Studio was produced by Scott Axelson and directed by Bob Levy. Senior producers Bill Brown. The executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. Timeout, Philadelphia. That leaves them with 2.
It's freezing. It's quiet. But you get used to it. You grow to love it.
Snow Fox 2-1. This is Snow Fox base.
This is Snow Fox 2-1.
Then a storm comes up. And I'm the one who's got to get us out of here. And I remember who gave me courage. This is for them. For my mom and dad, who never missed a game. For Drill Sergeant McCardle, who showed me what it takes to be a leader.
Visual contact, Sergeant.
And for myself, who became one.
We showed you coach's reaction. How about the players' reaction? Charlie Garner, yeah.
You see how they lined up? They're like a plumb bob. They were plumb bobbing that line there.
Oh, boy.
I don't think Troy Aikman is plumb bobbing that line.
Much jumping and leaping by Troy Aikman.
I think he's still woozy from that slight concussion that he had in the first half.
First down, Eagles at the Cowboy 32-yard line. Rodney Peete to throw. Here's the screen pass. This time it's to Turner. And Kevin Turner fights his way to the 25 and out of bounds.
They'll get the 2-minute warning right here.
Not sure what he's upset about. Maybe he thinks he should have broken it.
Miller Lite presents.
My name is Lilo Starelli. Since 1946, I have made it to every single 49er home game except one. That's over 500 games. I also saved every program and every canceled check I ever wrote them. People are always asking me, wasn't it hard to keep the streak going for 50 years? I say, no, not as hard as it will be keeping it going for the next 50.
I'm Kenny, a friend of Dick's. Miller Lite has asked me to find 4 cheerleaders to send to the Super Bowl. Today you're going to meet Kelly from Dunkerton, Iowa. Kelly says her talent's working well with others.
Bow wow wow Miller Lite. Dance, dance, dance Miller Lite. Squeaky squeak Miller Lite. It's really good.
Could Kelly be a cheerleader? Help us out. Participate where you buy and drink Miller Lite.
Listen up. I have been to the edge and back, and I will tell you what I've learned. What I have learned is you don't need outer crust.
Introducing the Edge Pizza from Pizza Hut. A new pizza with no outer crust, so the toppings keep right on going.
Mushrooms keep on going. Pepperoni and sausages keep right on going. I have been to the edge and back. Join me.
16 pieces of pure pulchritudinous toppings. Have you been to the edge?
Unless you see this episode, you won't be ready for the season premiere of The X-Files. The X-Files, tonight at 9, 8 Central on Fox.
Cowboys 12, Eagles 6, 2 minutes left. The Eagles have 2 timeouts remaining. They have the ball at the Cowboy 25. Pat Summerall here with John Madden. Barry Switzer looking on. 2nd and 3. A lot of people looking on. The handoff is to Waters. Ricky Waters out of bounds, lost the ball, but out of bounds at the 12. Waters came back in and picked it up.
You can't go out of bounds and be the first guy to come in and touch the ball.
You can if you fumble it.
Of course, the ball has been blown dead anyway, but watch Ricky Waters here. He's fired up now. He's starting in there. He hits that 6-hole perfectly. Barrett Brooks gets a block for him, and he just runs right through it.
I don't know if the ball is out of bounds or not. The Eagles ready to run another play. In any case, this is Waters to about the 8. Clock is running.
You know, you just have a feeling that Irving Fryer is still going to make a play. I mean, Irving Fryer is a big playmaker. Irving Fryer has dropped the last 3 passes to him. He's dropped 4 passes in this game, and great players don't end games like that.
Eagles have just put in Chad Lewis at tight end, and he is a pass receiver.
Receiving tight end.
Yep. 2nd and 7. The Eagles, less than a minute left now. Rodney Peete back to throw it. Fires it. Touchdown. Chad Lewis. Peete to Lewis. It's 12-12.
Chad Lewis is the Eagles have 3 tight ends: Jimmy Johnson, Jason Dunn, Chad Lewis. Chad Lewis is the rookie, but he's also the pass receiving tight end.
The rookie from Brigham Young. And now Boniol's extra point to give the Eagles the lead. Hutton puts it down. Flag on the play. Boniol's extra point was good, but there's a penalty marker down.
And the way the Eagles are going, it looks like it's against them. You know, that was the first pass caught by an Eagle tight end in this game.
Penalty was against the Cowboys. Chad Lewis, who just made the touchdown catch.
The extra point is good. The penalty is administered on the kickoff.
45 seconds left. 13-12, Philadelphia leading.
Rodney Peete has hung in there this whole game. He's had balls tipped. He's had balls dropped. He's been sacked. But the first pass that he throws to a tight end, or the first completion to a tight end, is a rookie from BYU. Chad Lewis, he just runs a slant, and he gets that ball. What's Chad Lewis? He's up on top, and they started with 3, and he's going to be right here and come right down here. You see, he started to the outside. The defender fell down.
Slipped down.
That was a heck of a move. He started like he was going outside to the corner, and then just came right back into a tight post.
The Eagles lead by a point.
You get a player from BYU, and he's caught a lot of passes.
Yeah.
Rodney Peete saw that whole thing. He was watching Chad Lewis. That was going to be his guy, and he watched him all the way and hit the big target. That's what I said. The Cowboys had chances to put the Eagles away all day, and the Eagles fought and they fought and they fought and they hung in there, and then this happened. But this is not one of the strengths of the Philadelphia Eagles right now, Pat.
The special teams, the kick coverage is not one of their strengths. That's so true. The kickoff sails in the direction of Herschel Walker, and Walker is taken down at about the 24-yard line by Brian Dawkins. Flag on the play. The Eagles, if they hang on, and this penalty is against Dallas, if they hang on, will be 4-4, and so will Dallas be 4-4.
And you know the thing about the Eagles, if they do hang on, and as you say, they'll be 4-4. They've won all 4 games at home. They will have lost all 4 games in a row.
Here's the kickoff return. Number 99.
It depends on, and we haven't seen what happened to the Giants. We haven't seen what happened to the Redskins, but they're all bunching up in the NFC East.
And I thought that, you know, we know there's going to be a separation, and I felt that this week would be the start of the separation.
And as far as these 2 teams are concerned, it's the start of a bunching together.
Listen to this crowd. They want these Cowboys. They hate the Cowboys here in Philadelphia.
That's true in a lot of places. Wade Wilson gets the pass to Emmitt Smith. 30 seconds left.
The Cowboys only have 1 timeout. I think they got to get the ball to the outside. I mean, they have to get the ball to Michael Irvin here. Wade Wilson better hurry up.
Wilson back to throw. Gets the ball to Emmitt Smith again, and he gets out of bounds. Stops the clock with 14 seconds left.
Yeah, they don't have time to be throwing loops to the backs. They got to get the ball outside to their wide receivers. There's Ernie Zampese over there in the corner calling the plays. Barry Switzer's thinking to himself, it looks like we let another one slip away. But the Eagles fought them all day. I mean, the Eagles did. I mean, the Eagles came here to fight, and they fought them all day.
They let them hang around.
And they hung around and bit them at the end.
4 field goals. Here's Wade Wilson, spins away, and now ducks under a couple of Eagle tacklers. And takes the sack with 7 seconds to go, and the Cowboys call the timeout. Philadelphia 13, Dallas 12.
Wade Wilson's going to go over there and try and get one more play that, again, that he can just hope that he can get a defensive penalty on here. Here you see they're just playing that prevent defense, and isn't it funny how when a prevent defense works, no one jokes about it. When you beat a prevent defense, they say all it does is prevent victory.
Why did you use that defense? Why did you slow things down?
The Eagles have used a lot of defenses and used a lot of defense as well.
And their defensive unit and the Cowboys defensive unit. When you only score 1 touchdown and there's so little time left before you score it, both defenses have done well. Here's...
You see that smile on Rodney Pete's face?
Yep.
It's been a heck of a week for him, hasn't it?
Has it ever? Twins and a victory. How much better can it get? Healthy twin. This is just a jog out of bounds by Emmitt Smith and the Eagles. Remember how they beat Green Bay back in the first of the year when we were here? 10-9. And now it's 13-12. And the Eagles and the Cowboys are tied at 4-4.
Look at this place here. This crowd's going wild. There's fireworks. There's cannons going off. This is football.
It's been raining since the game started.
Yeah,
but these people don't know it.
Frost in the pumpkin.
Frost is washed off by now.
You know, and you talk about, what football is all about and the NFL is all about. It's about, tradition, and it's about great rivalry games. And when you get the Eagles and the Cowboys, that's one of them.
Well, you think about the last 2 weeks for Rodney Peete and his starts with the Eagles. They beat Arizona last week in overtime, and this week it's by a point. 13-12. Philadelphia over Dallas. There's the guy who caught the pass.
We talked about their defensive job Troy Vincent did. We talked about the job Rhett Hall did.
Let's send you now down to Carl Churkins.
Thank you very much, Pat. The Eagles continue to congratulate Rodney Peete. Chad Lewis, who just caught that touchdown. First half, you were behind people. Second half, they dropped them, but you got the one that you needed.
Yeah, that's the story of our season so far. You got to fight all the way to the end, and every game that we play is going to be close. There's not going to be easy ones, and you look around the NFL, and there's very few easy ones, and you keep playing for 60 minutes, a good thing's going to happen to you.
Rodney, this team looked lifeless until Mark Say's punt return. What effect did that have?
Well, they got a pretty good defense on the other side. I mean, they're not a bunch of losers over there. I mean, they got some great players, and they made some plays on us, but the game was close. Thank God for our defense for keeping it close and giving us a chance at the end.
Rodney, congratulations. You can tell the Twins you got to win. First day there. Okay. Back upstairs to you, Pat.
All right, Chad, thank you very much. Michael Zordich.
There's a real warrior, isn't there? Michael Zordich.
He met his family yesterday.
Yeah. His father was there, and his brother was there, and he's a real player.
Any doubt about what's the play of the game? Here it is, brought to you by Energizer. From Rodney Peete to the rookie tight end Chad Lewis.
And Chad Lewis, made a heck of a move. I mean, part of all receiving is getting off the line and then getting open. But the part that he made of getting open, that move was something special.
It really was. Special to him and special to the Eagles and their fans. They win 13-12 over the hated Cowboys.